Hello, everyone. There we go. Now we're everyone. There we go.
We don't have anyone to run production today.
Welcome. We've all gathered here today very informally to discuss, well, this thing. Pathfinder 2E Core Preview.
It came with Rage of the Elements.
Yup, that's what they said, but you know what?
It made a lot of people in Discord rage about their elements.
There's only one thing that I have seen about all of this. Kineticists get a healing one action.
That's not the thing we're talking about, though.
That's the only thing I've seen about this entire...
Yeah, this is a different document. This is a free thing that Paizo put out as a supplement.
Yep.
Because a lot of the rules in Rage of the Elements do... Rage of the Elements is written as if the remaster is already out. So this is all the stuff that you need to know to translate the words they're using in the book that refer to a rule set we don't have, which is an interesting decision, I will admit, but a bold one.
It's a vision from the future that you get that you don't really understand until you go through time to figure it out.
We are literally making an Arcana check to try to translate the rules that they sold to us. So
Yep.
Someone at Paizo's third eye opened and they typed everything they saw in it.
Well, this is going to be especially fun because I read through this. There's a lot of interesting little things, some quality of life changes, some big mechanics changes, and but the most interesting part is they haven't read it yet.
Yes. We're all going to be learning about it. I've seen...
We agreed to do this like a week ago, by the way.
Yeah, but we decided it would be better. Look, have you been to YouTube Boomer in the last 15 years? It's literally just reaction content.
Yeah, that's a
now.
good point.
So,
If we're not pogging, it's not going to get views.
We got to get someone make the thumbnail face, and then we got to...
Boom, there it is.
We got to
There
react
you go. Click
live
it. We're good.
as Dad reads us the new rules.
I can do that.
The only one not doing that is the rules lawyer. Everyone else is freaking out over the rules.
This is commonly called the Nixplanation, by the way.
That's perfect. I'm ready for an explanation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, we can go ahead and jump right into it. Normally we have flashy intros for all of our shows, but not in this case because it's a little bare bones
We're also not going
today.
to have any visual aids. Again, we don't actually have a production for this. Arcadis is out of the town, so that you can tell by the fact that Corey started the stream and then ran over to his seat.
Our flashy intro was me looking at the camera like an animal. That was it.
Yeah, Torak is definitely right. We need some arrows.
We got a big red circle,
That's
a
it.
wehighlight somewhere.
Doesn't matter what the circles.
No, we'll
you
get
just have
there.
to have
It's
it on the
literally
thumbnail.
just a random section of the cover art. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Yeah. No, not that kind of arrow.
Oh.
No, you
gotta
make
put
it
it
We're
a
best.
lot of
destroying
books
our
fell.
entire bookshelf for a bit, and I'm
lot
here
of
for
books
it.
fell for this.
I want you to know our bookshelf has collapsed for this.
I provide.
He does.
Okay.
But
So,
yeah.
what are we learning?
Well,
Nick?
we're going to start with a couple of interesting things. First off, also what I'm going to do, just fair warning, I've been playing RPGs for a while now and played a few different sessions and a few different types of systems, and I'm noticing some similarities that tend to crop up here, so I might talk and sound like an old geezer when I do so. So apologies to y'all apologies to you ahead of time. Y'all don't get
You
my
have to
apologies.
deal with
Yeah,
I can just take a nap.
that's true.
When it gets to be too much, I'll just...
So first off, oh god, he's gone. There he
melting.
goes.
We didn't even start.
We lost him. That was quick.
Minute 3.
Done.
Give it up for minute 3.
All right, so the first thing that they give us is this really nifty little table right here. This table here is a bunch of replaced concepts. And these are basically primarily quality of life changes. Things that people found were a little bit complicated or weird or not a little bit unsure of or possibly copyrighted by somebody else.
Yeah, I think this is a little more of a legal thing.
Yeah.
This isn't on the Paizo channel, so I think we could just say it.
Yeah.
They're also very open about the fact that they're trying to move away from the OGL and they're trying to move away from all of the grandfathered concepts.
Ever since
that
Wizards
came
did
along
that
with
thing
specifically Dungeons
where the
and
mask
Dragons.
slipped
It's
down
like-
and revealed like a greedy demon.
Yeah. And they've been scrambling to put it back on ever since.
Wizards got a little too silly and goofy a few months
They got
ago.
a little
Yeah.
too comfortable in their
I do
situation.
like that Johnny is now just John. They just kind of dropped the I.
That's because you wouldn't say the I anyways.
It's just John originally.
Seriously?
I don't know.
I don't think that's right.
It's like...
But we
no,
are
it's like,
But it doesn't
renaming-
matter because that word doesn't exist anymore. It's John now.
We're renaming
no, it's
a
just
lot
like
of
Jin. You don't say the D.
ancestries, a lot of places, a lot of planes, a lot of spells. We'll get into that. That had their names brought in. So give us a couple of examples.
Well, my favorite actually is the negative plane and the positive plane, which I've never liked ever since I first heard about their existence.
You don't
It
like
sounds-
battery polarity as a function of the human soul?
I don't actually. No, it seems dumb. That seems
Okay.
real dumb. So now negative plane is called void. The void, right? I like that. And the negative damage is void damage.
Okay.
So, there you go. Undead creatures of the void, they they are empowered by void energy.
Undead being void creatures is interesting.
Yeah,
That's
well,
me getting healed by void energy.
Yeah, there you go.
Shogoth is in our games now.
Positive
The
energy.
darkness comes.
Yep, positive energy is called vitality. It is the stuff of life, which I think kind of nicely fits. I have to say, they really did a good job, like scraping the English language for descriptors.
I'm also glad they didn't just go like holy on that, because that does a good job to separate like positive and negative from. I mean, I know we're dumpstering alignment as a whole, but separate that from like the good and evil, like heaven and hell concept
absolutely.
as well, because it really is like a very separate thing, and it would have been super easy to go like holy for positive. So I like vitality a lot better.
Positive energy plane, not as big a fan of this one. Creations Forge.
I like that more than the Void. I think that is a super cool
That's-
name.
It's a little extra. I think it's a little.
I think my
I don't
issue
hate
with
it.
it is it sounds like there's somebody there working in it when it's really kind of supposed to be more like just a fundamental force of reality.
I guess it.
A lot of archons and stuff like that are like semi-mechanical in construction, so
It's a little all-encompassing. I feel like, because like positive energy is like life force. So I don't know. I would have felt like a life forge or something, possibly like, because creations is a little broad
Yeah.
for what it is.
I
my
mean,
immediate
I'm not
feeling.
saying I have a better one. I'm just
Yeah, I
saying
don't
it's
either.
weird.
I've heard this just now.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah.
knee-jerk. It's fine. But
It's
like
fine.
new names are cool and neat.
It's
They're
fine.
go- It's gonna be adjustment for nobody likes change.
Yeah, there you go. Fair enough. My cheese has been moved, and I'm not happy. That's going to be like a little subtext for most of the things that I complain about. There are things I'm not complaining about. One of those things is, in fact, tools versus toolkit. That is a distinct difference because toolkits and tools have.
So like healer's tools.
Healer's tools
It's like a healer's
versus
toolkit.
a tool to craft things with. So toolkits are things that you can just equip on you
Okay.
and
so,
use as part of quick skill stuff. Tools would be things like I got me an ads that I can use in downtime crafting.
You're the only person on planet Earth who would go to ads as your first tool that comes to mind.
I don't know why.
What do advertisements have to do with any tool? What are you talking about?
Oh my god.
See, the problem is it's a 50-50 chance that he legitimately doesn't know what an ads is, and I'm not sure how to take this.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Before we explore it anymore. Other minor things, abilities are now called attributes.
Makes sense.
Because you want to separate them from the stated
Abilities.
reason, separate them from abilities that you get.
The less things that have the same name, the better.
Yes, exactly. And you're going to see a lot of that kind of moving forward. They've changed a lot of names of various things. Attack of opportunity is called reactive strike now because it behaves differently from from attack
Understand why we
opportunity
have
in
to
D&D.
do it. Hate that, but moving off the OGLs. Sometimes we got to lose some of the names that are good, and everyone knows what they mean.
There
To make names
you
that
go.
are weird,
Isn't
and
it-
nobody knows what they mean.
So ability
But-
score just doesn't have a name now?
It's called
they're-
attributes.
Yeah, well, they're gone.
Yep.
So one of the big things, this isn't part of this. This is part of what we already knew about the remaster. Is like you are not going to have 10 strength anymore. You are not. Your strength is just going to be 0 if you have 10 strength. If you have 18 wisdom, you just have 4 wisdom. We're only using the number that does anything now. We're getting rid of the pointless number that's attached to it.
Yeah.
10
because
years
it
overdue.
literally does
Yes.
nothing.
10
And
years
we're,
overdue.
We're just using the modifier.
Gotcha.
Because
So
the modifier was all we used anyway.
it only does nothing in second edition. If they had tried to do this
yeah,
in
that's
first
true.
edition,
First edition still had interactions. You could take like literal strength damage and stuff in first edition.
Yeah,
but
that's
that's
true.
gone now, and it's
Yeah,
been
it's
replaced
gone,
by
and it was
enfeeble.
stupid in the first place.
Which I think is this is in my opinion, it is a vestigial system. It's an appendix. We're chopping it off. We're getting rid of it. We don't need it anymore.
Especially in 2E when nothing interacts with it, and it was 100% just grandfathered in because it's always been there.
Exactly.
This is great. Honestly, just having your wisdom attribute be 4.
And
It's way easier to tell people that you have 18 wisdom.
heck yeah. The little difference that they did do is when you do get a boost at 5th level, 10th level, 15th level, etc., 20th level, if you boost something that's already at a +4, instead of going from 18 to 19, you go to +4 and a partial boost.
Yeah.
And when you get to your
Plus
next
4.5.
boost- yeah, exactly. And then your next boost will actually get
So
you
yeah,
your
that
bonus.
chat immediately asked that too. Yeah, you get partial boosts if a skill is 18 or higher.
Yep,
So
exactly.
it still works. It works identically. The
Yep.
point, I think, of pretty much all the remaster rules is to seamlessly function with existing rules. None of this is intended to like change how the game works much. There are definitely some redesigns, but it should all be completely compatible with the rules that already exist. So you can mix and match as you see fit.
Isn't opportunity attack the D&D term?
Attack of opportunity. It's actually what it's called.
In D&D,
AOO.
it's opportunity attack.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
5e at least it was.
I guess.
don't know if it's in
I wonder.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess attack of
That's
opportunity
a
is
3
still
and
just
3
close.
plus
Maybe it's a
five.
3-3-5 thing that's still
But it was
bouncing around in my
attack of
brain.
opportunity, maybe.
I've only ever played 5e, so I know those are the terms I know for that one.
Yeah.
I definitely, a lot of these terms, my feeling is obviously, I get why we have to move away from the OGL, obviously, but the downside of that again is everybody who's played tabletop knows what an attack of opportunity is, and now we have to
Yeah.
explain reactive strike to new people.
Well-
to which the answer is going to be, oh, so it's like attack of opportunity, and really, it's literally attack of opportunity.
Well, I think
Please don't say that one.
we don't use that word here.
well, the difference I think is that you
Reactions
don't
are not
automatically
made.
get it, and I think that was causing a lot of confusion
You
with some
know,
people.
That's a fair point.
Mhm.
That is a thing that we've run into with almost everyone that we've introduced to 2E, is that, like, no, not everyone has AOO. You can usually just move around. We had a huge boss fight yesterday in our finale, and this boss didn't even have AOO. So it's really not common. So renaming it actually could super help with the incorrect assumptions that come with that.
Yep. And so I think that's ultimately I think it's a
That's
good
a good
thing
point.
once you
That's
get
a
over
good
the
point.
kind of the little thing. Yeah.
So some of these, and this could just be my okay. So City of Brass is now Medina's Medulla. I don't know how to even pronounce that.
It's
Magee and Magoo.
It's-
So is
something
City of
different.
Brass from
Gabagoo.
something else, or like a
City
similar
of-
or something
I know
else.
It's gonna be the
City
same
of-
thing.
City of Brass is the primary capital and the plane of fire. So I'm assuming that was just also inherited from OGL.
Exactly
Gotcha.
what it was.
Okay.
That's exactly.
I don't
what it
know
was.
enough about. I played very little D&D, so I don't know. I mean, if
like
it's on
Medina
there,
Medea.
you can safely assume it's also exists in D&D.
I
That's 90% of
Yeah.
this.
It's just interesting. There's also Mithril is on there, but that's from Lord of the Rings.
It is, but you know
But
what?
it's so
It doesn't
heavy
matter
there.
what's true if you don't have as much money for lawyers as your opponent does. So
I think it's
far
true.
better to be safe.
Yeah.
And it's also
yeah,
just
yeah.
that they want to make
Their own.
like a unique world. So
Yeah.
they don't want to pull in Mithril, and I don't know if Adamantine got changed. They don't want to pull in. I mean, to be fair, Pathfinder's Adamantine is very different than Adamantine I've heard anywhere else.
No, it's not on. It's not on the table.
Oh no, it's not. It's actually just Adamantine. Orichalcum is what I'm thinking of. So it is weird they had Mithril and not Adamantine and Orichalcum, because they've got two common tropey fantasy metals, but Mithril was too much.
Mithril is also a Magic the Gathering card. I didn't want to. Link called that out, and I just wanted to confirm that he was correct.
Mithril is very.
I'm pretty sure you can say most combinations of two words, and they're probably Magic the Gathering
Well,
cards.
so
at this
recently
point.
there
That's a
was
good
the
point,
Lord of the
actually.
Rings set.
Oh well, there you go.
And they
fair.
have Mithril armor in
That's
it. So
fair.
it's
I
pretty
got
sick.
one.
Yeah, I know the Lord. It's got really good art,
Foxhole.
actually. By the way, it's
It's
really
really cool.
It's really
Anyway.
cool.
Foxhole's not Magic the Gathering.
But do we want to get into the big discussion?
Yeah, let's talk
do it.
about actual things.
No, I don't. I mean like the big part of the discussion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because guess what the next section is? It's alignment. Alignment's gone.
Bye. See ya.
So-
Didn't need ya.
Alignment is gone. Here's what they're replacing it with. They're replacing it with edicts and anathema, which anathema is the system of anathema is something that we've had for a little while with champions. You can't go and violate your code.
Druids,
Druids,
barbarians.
Yeah. But they're
Anathema.
expanding it now to kind of be more of a what is your personal code? What do you strongly believe in? These are your edicts. What will you never do? These are your anathema. Anyone can make these as role playing guides. There is no penalty for breaking them. Really,
Okay.
it's just really a role playing guide. I don't necessarily know if I like the fact that there's no penalty for breaking them. I don't like that you don't get any kind of minor mechanical benefit from them. I'm gonna just talk about other systems which have, I think, done it a little bit better. Exalted had a system of intimacies, motivations, where if something you really cared about, that would be an intimacy, and people trying to convince you to act against your intimacy, you got a bonus to defend against it because you really cared.
That would be interesting. Initial knee jerk. I mean, it's not so much knee jerk. I've known alignments going away, and we're getting something similar for a while. But getting the specifics of it now being nothing, literally just do whatever, kind of feels like they wanted to get rid of alignment, and then just felt like they needed to have something.
Yeah, because I've
So,
never.
because this is literally not rules. This is like your character can care about things. We could already do that. Believe it or not, that's already a thing that you do.
It's
in
a
role-play.
role-playing
Yeah,
game.
that's like
Well, because I know in Age of Ashes, alignment is like a core part of that, but that is the only major tabletop game I've seen that has any alignment that alter.
it was
that
a
matters for a
big
campaign.
running theme throughout Age of Ashes was alignment, but even more so the fact that you are not restricted to your alignment. That like it is not a thing that defines you. So you had an evil gold dragon, you had a neutral red dragon, and those were like dragons being like archetypally the paragons of specific alignments. There was a lot of like a lot. You had a Hell Knight that was an ally. Like it was a lot about shifting alignments.
Yeah,
so it was kind of like, I guess, the precursor, just like, yeah, screw it, do whatever.
So
but
to me, this reads more like this is a way to kind of still retroactively play those adventure paths, but we don't care.
Well, the interesting thing about alignment is that it kind of, and the way that morality systems in general tend to work for different role-playing game systems is it exists to inform the storytelling, right? So if you were going to, in old D&D, which is based off of Tolkien, you've got big clashes of the forces of good and the forces of evil. It's really important to know which side of that fight you're on.
Right.
Hence, alignment existed. Original D&D didn't have lawful or chaotic, but you had technically it was lawful. It wasn't good. It was lawful. Chaotic, and then there was evil. There might have been a good. I don't remember exactly. It was a long time ago. But the point was, where on the fight between good and evil are you? Because that is kind of the overarching thing that we're worrying about here. But Pathfinder has and D&D, in fact, has kind of moved out into courtly intrigue ideas.
Yeah, we all got pretty
and
bored of
other
just
things.
fighting demons all the time.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Everything is like very gray now.
And not to say I enjoy a good high fantasy clash, good versus evil. That's all fine. But if you want to do something else, good and evil isn't really very important. So why have it there? One of the really good games I ran back in the day was actually this big fight that wound up destroying a city, and it was ultimately the forces behind it were both neutral. You had the cult of the god of roads and the cult of the god of nature, and they naturally hated each other, but they're both neutral. So it was this is sort of this edicts and anathema thing, however, would very starkly show how these two forces really didn't get along with each other.
I do definitely agree that having absolutely no mechanical influence whatsoever makes me question why even bother having a system. Like, what the point is? Because it really is just like role play.
Sure.
It's purely role play.
Mhm.
And again, like we already do that. So the people that are already there's a spectrum between role play and role play. But at the tables where people are already doing character heavy adventures and having development and big interactions and political intrigue and whatever, you already are going to have edicts and anathema because you have a character. Like, a character is innately going to care about things
Sure.
and not want to do things. And the people who are just there to throw dice and bonk things because they have a good time with like the what's it called? The granularity and the
tabletop war game
yeah,
aspect.
the war game aspect, the math and the interactions and
Mhm.
the tactics, now just are gonna feel like there's a thing they have to do that they don't care about. Like, I don't know who this helps.
It could.
Like,
I think it probably helps newer players who because one of the big hurdles of these type of games, right, is they don't do the role play part of it. They just do the game part. So maybe this is a good thing to show them, like, hey, this is just light role play. Like, you don't need to do a character voice. You don't need to make a whole character, but this is at least what you're working towards. So
Mhm.
here is your edicts and anathemas.
Yeah, and I say
That's fair.
5e did a guide. They did the boons and ties thing. I remember that exists in 5e.
Yeah, I
and
barely ever touched it. But yeah,
that's
yeah.
because it's just a role play guide. That's
Yeah.
all it exists as. That's what edicts and anathema are. It's just a role play guide. I think you could do more with it, and I have seen other systems do more with it and work out pretty well.
I would like to see a mechanical benefit. I would like to see you getting some sort of a bonus for playing into them.
Yeah.
Because, even if it's a small one. Just
I mean,
because,
it's possible they could add that later. This is just the introduction to get you used to it.
That's true.
And then when they release the full thing, they're like, okay, if you follow along with this, you get a +1.
But you also raise a
bonus.
good point that it helps people who are just unfamiliar with tabletop in general kind of get into headspace. So I guess I'm
Yeah.
like 0 for 2 in remembering that new players exist.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
like,
yeah.
like,
They exist and they're scared.
there's people that have played Pathfinder for less than 10 years. Like,
Well, I
Hi,
mean-
my name's Corey.
Here's a quick house rule or something that y'all could use at home if you want to. If you act in accordance with your edict, then you get a hero point.
cool.
There you go. See, like mechanical benefits to encouraging good role play.
Yeah.
It's always something that's nice.
Well, hear me out on this, though. I feel even harsher about this than Squid does. Because to me, this is unnecessary fluff. An alignment system gives a new player a clear-cut way of being like, you lean in this general direction.
Mm-hmm.
Let's literally put like a straight up label where
Yeah.
like this is what you should be trying to. This is what you should aim towards.
This, I could literally say, and I'm a great person, this, that, and the other. And also, one of my edicts is I kick puppies. Just because. Like, I could be whatever I want it to be.
I mean, you can. I feel like that's what
but there's no
the
consequences.
GM's job perhaps is to fix that.
I think
but
this
it's
should
too
be
loose.
I think it would be
It's-
the GM could come up with the chosen edicts that the player could have.
That's
now.
true. It could easily be something that's like assigned, but
Like
or that you could work.
This
with
is
to
where
make
we
up based on the
understand that
campaign.
a role-playing game is a cooperative experience.
Yes.
You
But
could also
not
just you could
everyone
come in
is
as puppy
cooperative.
as like John Puppy Kicker anyway. Like I mean,
We had
that's-
Puppy Muncher.
You could do that. We had Puppy. Okay, that's different. But like you could come in as John Puppy Kicker regardless. I don't think an edict's in that to give you any like.
I just
additional
feel it's too
credence to that.
loose and unnecessary.
I think it's loose enough as to even with like the new player angle. I still don't really feel like there's a reason for it to exist.
I think it's just like you said earlier. We had it, so we need to replace it with something.
Yeah, it just felt like-
it kind of. I think it's that, but I think the other goal of it. This to me reads more just like new players need some. If they just need a goal to work towards, you can have a label for
And
it.
just like soften
that
the blow of
sounds
losing
fantasy.
alignment. Like we got rid of alignments, but we still have this, and then just like so
and
there's a
and
this.
it's still got
like,
fantasy words, so here's
Yeah.
the fantasy.
Yeah.
Like that's
It's still got fantasy words.
like it's not good and bad. It's edicts and it's yeah.
Fair.
Well, one thing actually. Hang on. Link
It
found
was
it.
just actually
Law,
law, chaos, and
and
neutrality.
neutrality were the original
So it's
three.
just the middle bar.
There
So
you
we
go.
had there wasn't good and evil at all. We actually only had the weird axis.
There you
Which
go.
goes a long way to explaining why the hell that even freaking exists.
Yeah, it's dumb.
That is
But
because it was there in the first place.
More to Vatalander's point, because he made that point a little questionable. It's like, does this simply mean that all divine alignment damage spells just do nothing, or do they target
We'll
an
get to
anathema?
that.
That's coming up. This is what they did.
Let's get to that.
Let's talk about that. So there's something called holy and unholy now, and there's a very important keyword called sanctified, which basically is do you have a ticket to the divine war? That's what sanctified means.
What?
Excuse me?
Is it a ride I have to get on?
Would you like a ticket to the divine war?
No?
No? Then
I don't think I want to get a ticket for any war.
Yeah, like I'm gonna pen. I think that's called a draft.
I dodged that.
Well,
okay.
well, guess what? Some clerics get drafted, and some clerics dodge it. That's what Caden Kalian's all about, after all. They're all draft dodgers, every one of them.
What? Is he?
Nobody tell the IRS. Or
Does
anyone
anybody
else.
like fighting? Well, Caden Kelly's a drunk, dude. Bar fights are his thing.
No, he's the opposite.
Yeah, if
Oh,
you're a
that's
mean
actually- no, he
drunk,
hates
he
bar
kicks
fighting,
you
correct.
out.
Yeah, but there's like good spirited bar fights. You can't be like an asshole about it, but like it's a good old brawl.
You can
Like
be
No,
boys just doing it
because
to, like,
boys
on the
just
break.
being dudes.
Fighting
Yeah.
while drunk is bad in his eyes.
Really?
Yes.
Does he have a thing for that? I've actually never really looked into Caden Kelly. I've never for 1 second considered
He
making
doesn't
a
like
Caden night.
angry drunks. He doesn't like drunken fighters. He like not drunken fighting. He doesn't like people who fight just because they are drunk. Like he likes
what do you-
people
so-
to be
okay,
happy,
so
happy
okay.
and merry. He's
You will
Bacchus.
have a good time and you will like
He
it.
is the equivalent of Bacchus.
Okay, fair enough.
So if I'm drinking a bunch of brewskis with the boys, okay, we're in a basement, and then after like 10
Gotta
beers
specify
down,
the
we're not in a
basement.
bar, we're in my buddy Jeff's house, okay?
All right.
We're in the basement. I have 10 Bud Lights in me, and he also has 10 Bud Lights in him, and we're just like, who do you think would win in a fight? And be like, well, only one way to find out. And then we just go, is that good then, or is that not cool?
I mean, if you were drinking anything other than Bud Light, you wouldn't be able to have the coherent conversation after 10. So
I think Caden struck you at Bud Light. I'm pretty sure.
I have 10 IPAs in me.
Okay.
Drink a Bud Light, you feel your divine powers as a level 20 paladin fade away immediately.
I was immediately just level 1 again.
anyway,
Holy and unholy and sanctified.
Holy and unholy and sanctified. So good damage and evil damage are really the only two types of damage that matter. Law damage and chaos
Yeah,
damage
where no one's
existed.
gonna pretend that we care about.
No one cares about them. But good damage and evil damage are now going to basically be holy and unholy damage. So if you have, and this is a tag that gets applied to something called spirit damage.
So if I get drafted the holy word in Caden's name, now I also have to be sober.
You just can't drink while you're fighting for the god of drinking.
Man, this war sucks.
What you do when you go home is fine. Okay? How you cope with it is
Drinking
fine.
is fine. Getting blackout drunk and then getting into a bar fight, he wouldn't be happy.
Well, you can't get blackout drunk and go fight demons with the boys. Anyway, let's continue. The Caden tangent is going to take us to the dark place.
Exactly.
I'm calling Paizo about this. I need to get to the bottom of this.
So if you're sanctified, you're
The
going to
bottom of the
get
barrel.
a holy tag or an
Okay.
unholy tag, depending on which side of the divine
So you
war.
become holy or unholy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Which means you're now susceptible you're now susceptible to holy or unholy damage, and you might get a weakness to holy or unholy damage. But it means that your attacks that do spirit damage will also have holy and unholy, letting you do extra damage in that regard.
What the hell is spirit damage?
This sounds a whole lot like I just don't want to be sanctified.
So remember Spirit Blast? Remember that spell that does
Yeah.
force damage
the
that
one that
only
hits you in the
targets?
soul, yeah.
Yeah, it punches your soul out. Well, now there's a damage type for it.
Okay. Does it do anything else?
No, it's just a damage type unless you're sanctified. If you're sanctified, that's how you get extra damage on devils and angels and things like that.
So if I'm not sanctified,
Okay,
I don't
so-
worry about it.
So
Nope.
if you're
Saying
doing
You're neutral.
I'm getting lost on sanctified.
So
I'm getting
yeah,
lost
so
in
okay,
there.
so
Okay.
Sanctified
demons-
is a state
So-
that you become.
Yeah, so let's take sanctified as your ticket to the holy war. We're gonna take that and put that on the shelf right now. We're
Okay.
just gonna talk
Okay.
about spirit damage, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Spirit damage is I punch you in the soul.
Okay.
It doesn't work on rocks. It doesn't work on things that don't have a consciousness. You punch them in the soul.
Okay.
That's spirit damage. There are spells that do spirit damage. There may be effects that do spirit damage. I'm thinking that some monk should have I punch you in the soul. It don't make
Spirit
sense to me.
barbarian.
Seems
Yeah.
pretty monkey to me.
Isn't
Yeah.
it a monkey? Yeah. Huh,
It
wait.
should be in Starfinder.
It's a monkey. Yeah.
Yeah,
But that exists, right? And that's how it works. If you're not sanctified, you don't have the holy or unholy tag, and then like a demon goes and hits you with a claw that does 84 slashing damage and 20 unholy damage, you don't take that 20 unholy damage.
So holy and unholy damage has pretty much just been removed from the game, because at least from like an enemy perspective, because you will like literally you can only hit clerics with it.
Well, it's anybody can get. Is it anybody that gets sanctified? Let me check it out.
What is saying?
It's kind of a big section.
Okay, yeah, this is I think one of the bigger rule changes here.
Yep.
Is the alignment change.
So some deities must choose, and there are some deities that can choose. So
Okay.
you have the option, if you're a devotee of a deity, to either be sanctified or not if your deity gives you the option. But some deities are like, you're either all in or you're not.
And then I guess the question is there any upside to being sanctified if you're not like a cleric, or are you just nerfing yourself?
So the you get the holy trait or unholy trait.
Right.
Holy traits if you have that trait. If you have that trait, you have stronger effects on unholy creatures. If a creature with a weakness to holy use a holy item or effect, you take damage from your weakness. So like picking up a good sword will like literally burn your hand if you're unholy.
Okay.
Kind of situation. And the same deal with effects of cruelty or sin. If you're holy or unholy, your sanctified actions and spells gain the same trait. So there's
Okay.
sanctified actions and spells you can do. So, be gone, demon.
So I guess it kind of
thing.
just really depends on like the benefits of being sanctified, like what all
It
sanctified
sounds like
actions are.
everybody's in or nobody's in kind of thing.
Well, it's the attempt to be able to do good or evil damage, but have it work
So
in an
it's
area
like-
where there's no alignment.
So yeah, the theoretical, like I'm just looking into future here. For say you wanted to be Trishik in Age of Ashes, and because chaos isn't a thing anymore, you just wanted an evil dagger or whatever.
would have just been
hypothetically,
unholy.
you would have been sanctified yourself unholy to use that, and then
Well, I suspect
Or
though
something.
that unholy items exist independently of the people who pick them up. But if
Right.
a holy person picks up
and
an
then you
unholy
can't do the
weapon,
opposite.
it
But
hurts.
I wonder if that will let you even use the abilities tied to items like that if you aren't sanctified with them.
It's a good
Because
question.
really, all just the question is, what are the upsides of being sanctified? Because you're opting into an entire damage type that you're now vulnerable to.
Correct.
I could see wanting to purposely be the opposite or the same as the things that you're fighting to gain the benefits of the items you get from them and not trigger the weaknesses that they would trigger if you were of the
Yeah,
good
not to
alignment.
get slapped by
Yeah.
the because you're kind of rocket tagging if you're opposite. It sounds like because you're just
Yeah.
both weak to each other.
But if I'm the
So-
same, then
Yeah.
I can just ignore you
Well,
and still use your stuff.
Here's my big complaint with good and evil damage and being, good creatures are weak to evil and evil creatures are weak to good. Is ironically the best good paladins would be neutral.
Right, because
Like,
you don't have the
which
weakness.
is dumb. Like, it makes no sense. Like, the way you would typically do with, like, classical high fantasy storytelling is good is strong against the forces of evil. Evil has struggles against good, but evil is really strong against people who aren't on a side. That's your
it's a
typical
binary issue
storytelling.
because like
Yeah.
we can't, for some reason, it does seem like the obvious answer to just pull neutral into this and make it a triangle. Because then
Yes.
there's advantages each ways, but as long as they're really hung, like just good and evil, they just blow each other up, and you opt out of the nuclear super effective war. by just being neutral.
And ironically, the neutral person who picks up like a good or evil aligned weapon becomes the greatest scourge of the other side.
We ran in Strange Aeons even with the old traditional alignment. That like everybody who was neutral was just like, well, I'm just immune to all of this stuff, like no matter what it is, because I'm not good or
even
evil.
more benefits.
So you're just immune to all this crap. And it sounds like that's going to continue, and that's just a problem with the two-sided system.
Yeah.
This was a great opportunity, I think, to make it a triangle.
Yeah.
Where there was
It needs to be a rock, paper, scissors
Exactly.
element to this.
Yeah.
and then like good beats evil, evil beats neutral. But does that imply what neutral beats good?
Generally not. Generally the
Neutral
reason
and
why
always
good would have a harder time with neutral is that there's probably more stringent restrictions on being good than there is.
You
on
can
being
just
neutral.
kill all the demons. You can't kill the rioting peasants. Like, okay, fair.
I mean that's the typical high fantasy like reason for it all.
So this beats this. This beats this. This beats this because this can't properly retaliate.
Become unholy for resistance without using it. That's just the Doomslayer.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Paizo's mask fell, and it is the Doomslayer.
I can't argue with that logic, man. That's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean I see what they're doing with it. I don't know if I'll like it. I think it's going to depend on how things go. I mean, there are other exploits that I kind of unintentionally stumbled into when I was playing Roshin, where I've got a good deity, so I have access to all the good damage.
Yeah, neutral deity.
But
Milani's
Milani's good.
I thought she was
Yeah,
kinda
Milani's
neutral.
good. So you get all the good damage on the magic, so I can use it against the foes. But I'm neutral, so the evil damage doesn't hit me. But it doesn't matter because it goes off your deity. Now what I think they're going to do is they're going to close that loophole by no. If you're fighting the good fight, you're sanctified.
With
You're
the
on
thing-
my side now.
The thing they said with gods, a lot of the gods forcing you to sanctify sounds like a lot of people are going to be sanctified. Like it sounded like your average player character may very likely just be sanctified holy, just almost as more of a baseline than not.
Yeah.
That could be a punishment from the GM for someone being particularly unruly. Is like, you're sanctified now because a god of like good and whatnot wants to punish you for all your mischief.
I think there's already a system in place for that.
Yeah.
Aside
But
from,
like it could legit be a punishment. It's like,
I'm going to punish
if
you with
this
a
is-
job.
If this is all the
Here's the
information,
badge.
if this is all we've got information-wise on this so far, I think really it's hard to tell what it's going to lead to until we have a lot more stuff that interacts with the
A lot of
system.
this
Yeah.
is probably way also more focused on Rage of Elements because I'm looking at a lot of this and there's a lot of italicized Rage of Elements kind of in here.
Well, that's the
So,
point of this. The point is
yeah.
to be a companion to translate Rage of the Elements. So we're just kind of gleaning what we can from the Rosetta Stone and inferring what it's going to mean when the full remaster launches in the future.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it comes out.
We'll see.
Coming up, there's also little quality of life changes, dedication feats. Every dedication feat now says, you know how every dedication feat says you have to take 2 more things from this tree before you can take something else, and that's in every single one of them.
Yep.
Now they're just like, the dedication tag does that, so we don't have to print it a
I
gazillion
don't really know
times.
why they didn't do that in the first place. Fair enough.
Quality of
Seems
life
obvious
controls.
in hindsight.
Druid gets its own special spot. No longer anathema to use metal.
I don't know why it ever
Dub.
was, but
Absolute dub. Yeah. What
Yep.
is?
So what they've done
If
now...
the rock is too rock, it's anathema now.
Exactly. Well, what they've done is they've kind of expanded the elemental kaleidoscope now. They've added in wood and metal as actual elements now, kind of taking a page out of the Chinese
They
elemental
were in
thing.
1E too. There's the
Yes.
first edition already had the plane of wood and the plane of metal.
Are you serious?
Yep.
What happens if you go to the plane? Is it just like ingots? Like
No, the plane
ingots
of
as
metal-
far as the eye
it's
can
just-
see?
the plane of metal was a subsection of the plane of earth.
Uh-huh.
Typically more ores, forges, dwarf-like beings, that kind of thing.
Commonly called
More-
dwarves.
Everyone
Not
just waves like
just
this.
pure metal. It was like more processed and worked, more of a proper place.
So it was not in second edition? It was in first edition
I
and
guess-
then vanished from second edition. Now it's back in second
There
era
were
edition.
so many subsections.
There's a lot of like sub-slices of lore from 1E that did not make it to 2E.
For good
They
reason.
cleaned everything up.
For
There
good
are
reason.
about 20 bazillion planes in 1E, and like 7 total made it to second edition, and now apparently wood and metal have joined us. I don't know if they're still planes, but they're elements now.
We
at
came
least.
back to them hat in hand saying, sorry, we abandoned you, and bringing
Well,
them back in.
It's
there's-
cool, like if you want to add these extra elements in, but I think it's going to cause some interesting situations where if you you're going to add these elements in, those elements would have theoretically, if they're proper creation universe foundational elements, they're going to have their own plane, they're going to have their own creatures, their own denizens, and so on and so forth down the line. You have to make all those. That's all gonna have to
Golems.
happen.
We
Like if you look
had-
at genies, right? There's a
Golems.
section on genies where they've renamed all the genies into their new, non-suable names.
Right.
Well, there's no
John.
wood genie and there's no metal genie. But the all elements genie has the wood and metal tag in addition
Pretty
to
sure
all the other ones.
Ozzy is the metal genie.
They made him. So we'll see.
Straight up.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. He grants wishes.
I played Brutal Legend.
I thought you meant the actual man Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Is he actual Ozzy Osbourne in Brutal Legends?
He's literally just Ozzy Osbourne in Brutal Legends.
That's hilarious.
And he is the guy that you go down to the underworld and he gives you all the upgrades for your car. He is just him.
That's funny.
He is just like the god of creation in the underworld, and it's just straight up Ozzy Osbourne. No changes.
They knew their audience.
Masterpiece of a game, man. 10 out of 10 recommend. But
Now it's a plane of rust and decay, says Ghost of a Zombie.
well, they have just because this is the Rage of the Elements companion. First edition kineticist, you could be a metal kineticist and you could be a wood kineticist. Like these. So I'm assuming you probably the reason these are here is because you can also do that in second edition. I haven't read Rage of the Elements yet. That's not what this is about. This is about the remastered news
Well,
that we
Kineticist
did in a
was
weird order.
Pick
But-
two, combine them. You're
yeah,
not
but they were combo elements.
Huh.
So it was a metal was I think earth and fire together, and then you could be a metal kineticist
Ah,
if you had
okay.
two types.
Oh, I see.
Oh.
I see. That's
Horror
interesting.
rules.
So it wasn't. It was like because the plane of metal was I think a subplane of the plane of fire.
Can you, like,
just like the Dreamlands is a subplane of the plane
Fire
of that kind
and
of thing.
fire and water to be a steam.
I am now going to Google all the first edition kineticist things while
Yeah.
you guys talk about wood and metal.
It's a boiling kineticist.
A boiling
You just
kineticist.
boil anything
I
near
boil
you.
things.
Fun rules.
I'm the
that I
pasta
remember.
kineticist. I can make pasta and rice like
You
no
have
other.
To be Italian.
Your
in
hands
first
are like
edition.
this all the time.
The plane of air, anybody could go to. It was very common to end up there, and gravity doesn't exist there. You think it, you start falling that way.
Huh.
So there was a literal will save to that. Like, there's a lot of plane-based rules and lore and excerpts
For
that
when
just
you're
isn't-
just out of
yes,
ideas.
it's just, it's
Right.
just not in
That's,
second
that's
edition.
the thing in the Hitchhiker's books is a character learns how to fly because he just
falls.
he just forgets that he's falling, and then you just forget about the ground, and then you fly.
Yep.
That's it. You have to convince yourself that you're not falling to then start flying.
All right,
I don't think that worked very well for the sperm whale and the
there actually
petunias.
apparently there was not a metal element directly for kineticist in first edition. It was a composite that you could get from fire and earth. So the first edition kineticists were air, earth, fire, water, aether, which is different from air apparently, light,
Only air.
void, wood. Wood was in there. Poison. Now we're gonna get wacky.
Okay,
sound,
Okay, sure, no. But
time.
Sure. No, sure, but
time.
I am the time bender.
Time.
How do you mind-
kineticist.
How do you mind time?
And
How do you do that?
void.
He just has watches all
You
over
just
him.
pull out a watch, turn it back a little bit, and watch somebody crumble.
What the hell is a time kineticist? And then all the composites, which were the combos, were etheric, autumn. You know, some pumpkin spice
yes.
kineticist,
You just get
Latte.
You just crochet a little bit. Yeah.
ice, blue flame, charged water, force, gravity,
Cool.
blizzard,
Sure.
magma, metal, mud, negative, plasma, positive, sandstorm, spring, steam, summer, thunderstorm, verdant, void, and winter. You can be the kineticist of the
So
four
you
seasons.
have the option of plasma
you can
or
just be
mud,
like-
Or a spring scent. You have
like, or I just sneeze a lot. Like, what?
the allergy mancer. I am pollen.
Dear God, I hope this isn't a glimpse into the future.
I
I really
I
hope it's
do.
not.
I
I
have
was
not.
already interested in
I haven't
kinesis.
read Rage of the Elements yet, but now I'm way more excited to do it than I was before after re-looking at the first edition options.
I was already excited for
Because,
kineticist.
boy,
If I could do that,
They
then
were
good.
wilded in first edition. We really stressed the definition of an element in that one.
Sound is absolutely insane.
And that's a core element.
Yep.
That's what, like, you can be a sound kineticist. You can be a fire kineticist that shoots metal. That's a composite. That last list was composites. But you can just be a straight up sound kineticist. You can be a viscera kineticist, dude. You can just throw organs at people. Like,
Why?
I don't have an answer to that question.
All
the
right.
winter kineticist just throws s'mores at you.
All right.
We have water, ice, blizzard, and winter are 4 different things that you could be.
It's
4
ice.
distinct options.
Ice, blue ice, clear ice, spicy ice.
Cold water. Cold water.
Minty is just cold
Wouldn't it just
spicy.
be? Wouldn't it just be spice if it's spicy ice?
No, that's autumn.
Yeah.
No, spice because of SPICE.
That's how you spell the word.
Spicy ice.
It's a
It's
pun.
spice.
Oh, I see.
Spicy
I
ice.
see. It's a
See what you're
subset.
doing.
Okay.
This was
Yeah.
a good one.
All right.
Yeah,
This was
all
a
right, yeah, that's
this
good.
was a weird tangent.
I think that was a flawless tangent.
We went on a magical adventure to looking at the first edition rules because boy howdy, there was stuff in there.
Sometimes it's fun to reminisce.
You just look back at, man, remember the train wreck of 92? And just kind of.
You guys remember Viscera Kineticist?
Let me remind
Me
you.
neither.
Mythic Vital Strike.
Yeah, Mythic Initiative.
For when you're just like, you know what? Yeah, why not? Yeah, that's what that is. All right. Well, moving on. Spells. They've gotten rid of spell levels because it's confusing for character levels and counteract levels.
Okay,
So they
fair.
just call those things ranks now. So levels, character levels go
Getting
from
real
1 to 20.
Warcraft with it in here.
Ranks
Okay
go
with that,
from 1 to
like-
10.
We really are.
We got the Void in, now we're on spell ranks. I'm all right with this.
Yep.
I like less things being called levels. I have no complaint.
Yep, nice quality of life change. Looking forward to that. That should be nice, especially with counteract levels now are counteract ranks. So if you're using an
Keep
ability,
the ranks aligned with the ranks and the levels
Yeah.
aligned. The problem was the fact that spell levels and character levels did not align, and that
Yep.
was the point of
So,
confusion.
so wait, so are we getting? Is it just spell levels or spell ranks, or character levels called character ranks now?
No,
well, levels
character
are levels.
Levels are
because
levels.
Ranks
and
aren't analogous because you get level 3 gave you level 2 spells.
Yeah.
Level 11 gave you level 6 spells.
Yeah.
So it's like level 11 gives you rank 6 spells. And then you don't have that confusion of them both being called levels. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's
Okay, cool.
it's a complaint that's literally existed for I think 40 years.
Yeah, it's omnipresent.
50
Like,
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
I'm
that's
absolutely
good.
in here for ranks.
Absolutely good. Big one though for spells. Spell schools are gone. They've gone
Wizards
away.
have been banned.
Well, no. Wizards.
No, well, I know about we have gone through a desperate scramble to attempt to determine what the hell a wizard is even supposed to be at this point. I don't know
All right. So
a lot of this.
spell
Wizards are
schools.
just nerds.
Spell schools have been replaced with schools where you study spells.
Oh.
Like a
Yeah, of
literal
course.
Like
school.
a literal
Yeah.
So your
school.
spell-
So Skyrim
Your
style,
spell
like-
school is no longer like abjuration. Your spell school is Hogwarts.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
your school is now the College of Winterhaven. That's your school.
It's literally just Skyrim style. like,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And each school will give you a curriculum that has a spell list, and those are the bonus spells you get, or the ones that are on that curriculum.
Man, they're working really hard to try to figure out how wizards should still exist when they removed all the rules that made wizards exist.
So
It's kind of showing. I
So
feel
to-
like a little.
So to level up as a wizard, do you have to go back to school
You
to learn your
literally have to
curriculums?
pass the bar.
That's really funny. You have to actually take an exam
Yeah.
to
So
get to
with-
the next level.
So with
you
your
need to do a
curriculum,
third level spell.
so we have just similar
Good
to
rank.
Edicts and Anathema. Is there a list of schools, or have we just also removed this rule?
We have
and
a
now-
single school. It is existing here. It's called the School of Mentalism, which I think is cool and very disappointing at the same time.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you why first I find it disappointing, because everyone likes to complain first when
It's-
you're on the internet.
It's witch. All right.
It is guess so your spells, the bonus spells that you get, which keep in mind this is your 4th spell slot per level, right? So this is going to be 25% of your spell list is going to comprise of these things. First level, Dizzying Colors,
Is that color?
probably
spray?
color spray, yeah.
Okay.
Sleep, I think that's sleep, and Sure Strike. I'm pretty sure that's True Strike.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah, sure. It strikes.
Okay.
And those are the 3 you get. So
I-
which one of those would you like to be 25% of your level 1 spell slots?
Sleep.
Good night.
Well, you got to pick one.
Sleep. I'm going
Cantrip,
to bed. Good night.
you get an extra cantrip. It's either Daze or Figment. Figment is basically your minor illusion spell.
Okay.
Second,
Prestidigitation, maybe.
no, sir, it is not. It is not. It
Do
is-
we
Doesn't-
have an
that
illusion
doesn't
cantrip
exist
right
in-
now?
No.
Well, you do now because Figment exists.
Okay.
It's been created.
That's not prestidigitation.
Nope.
That's
That
okay.
is a separate, different thing.
Okay.
And
Because
so
I know we renamed basically every spell, and again, I understand we're moving right to the jail. I get it. I don't gotta be happy about it. Like, no, I don't think there's any reason to be happy about stuff being renamed for what is just straight up purely legal reasons when everyone knew what the previous names meant and they were iconic. It's just a loss. I don't feel like I need to sugarcoat it. It's just negative in most cases.
I
But,
cast this.
we gotta
spell
do what
all
we
the
gotta do.
time.
Never mind.
That's my favorite spell. Is never mind.
Just never mind. I'll see you guys later.
I guess never mind. I'm out.
All right. In addition to basically picking from this very limited, very short list of spells, you also get your focus spells are instead of being associated with your spell schools that don't exist anymore, it's associated with the school in which you learn spells.
So I guess again, it's gonna matter like if they give us a list of schools like a Mentalist, or if they're going the way of a lot of the things that seem to be. I'm sensing a recurring theme of just make some crap up, we'll sort it out later. Which is largely in part probably due to the fact this is not the full remaster rules. This is just like a translation guide for Rage of the Elements.
Yeah.
But like Edicts and Anathema barely being rules, not even being rules, has worried me because the first preview we got of the remaster just said you just make up a school, which means again this is literally not a mechanic because the player will just pick an extra spell every level because they just make up whatever school they. Hey, this one's in my school. Because literally, that sounded like what they were angling for, and like there will be some example schools and stuff. But like
I went to the school of hard knocks. I'll take.
I went to the school of the meta spells on Reddit.
Yeah.
I actually went to school.
Man, that school again. It's got so many members.
Very popular school.
Yeah, very
I
popular.
went to Phoenix University.
I don't know magic. I can't guess it.
I got
I can do card tricks.
I got Red Sox. That's what I got.
No, I'm a magician. Like, it's different. Look, I pull rabbits out of hats.
The one thing, though, that I do like about this School of Mentalism is there's a whole bunch of illusions and mind-affecting stuff on here, which I previously only saw in the occultism tradition.
Okay.
Which means that perhaps schools...
Oh, does this allow you to
let
pick, like,
you-
one off of your list, maybe?
Oh, no. So this little list
They're
of
all
spells...
arcane?
No, I mean,
that's what I
unless
mean.
they're changing it, it's possible that some of these might be occult because, for example, illusory scene or hallucination or warp mind? Was warp mind arcane? Could you
I'm not
warp mind
sure.
as
We'd
arcane?
have to look.
Maybe
I don't
not.
know off the top of my head.
Because I see an awful lot of illusions on here, and I remember illusions was almost entirely got yanked by the occult tree.
Arcane does definitely still have access to a bunch of illusion magic, but I don't know how divided it is. I definitely can't tell you off the top of my head what
It's
spells are on
possible
that
that I'm just desperately searching for a
But
positive.
if the school curriculum, whatever, does give you access to like a small selection of non-arcane spells, that could at least give it like a reason to exist.
Yeah, that's what I was
Other
thinking.
than just like, wizards just get one more spell none per level.
Yeah.
Because again, I know it sort of sounds like they're just like, we removed all the things that define wizards, so wizards we're just gonna try to hodgepodge a
Wizard's the
reason
new
for it to still
sorcerer.
be here. Like maybe just, I mean, I know it came out of core, and I'm starting to understand why. I know wizard got bumped, witch is the new core race now, because I'm seeing why a little bit. I'm a schools
Wizard's
of
gonna
magic
be rare
stand
now.
for sure. I'm not seeing a reason to have wizard is like a class that there is at the
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
Like this.
Well,
what is it? What is a wizard?
It sounds more like a subclass now.
Well,
Yeah.
I think here's the issue, and I think Wizard has been slowly losing relevance as the game has progressed. Because way back in the day, Wizard was magic user, and that was how you got magic.
Well, sorcerer that got bumped, not wizard.
Yeah, okay. That was how you got magic. You were a magic user, and the whole deal with magic is you were a knowledge scrounger. You went to find knowledge, hoard it, and that was where you got your magic from, right? That was how it worked. And then Sorcerer came along, which was just like, I just have it in my blood, and I just think of it, and I can do the same things that wizards can do, and I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So all of a sudden, this entire... Because wizard wasn't just an ability set, it was also a strong character motivation. You had to hunt that stuff down. You got some spells every level, but really the strength of Wizard is you saw a scroll with a spell on it you didn't know, you could read it and learn it, put it in your book, and now you had it.
Right.
Right? That was
You
how
can learn the
Wizards
entire
worked.
spell list.
Wizards you could learn the whole spell list. Wizards didn't have a cap on what they could do because they could literally learn the whole tree. No one else could do that.
It's the upside of a prep caster for as long as
Exactly.
Pathfinder's been around is you can literally learn the whole spell list.
Exactly.
So-
But Sorks came along, and all of a sudden it was way easier, but you got the same stuff, and you got spontaneous casting. You didn't have to prep, and this whole motivation for this character just disappeared. And every new caster that comes out that's able to do the things that Wizards can do just makes Wizards not really be a part of the game anymore.
Yeah, I guess they've just kind of had their identity, it feels like, eroded away over
Yeah.
the years by the fact that we've got, like, basically 4 wizards now. because second edition got the 4 magical traditions. So you have Bard, the occult wizard, which has a very strong identity and flavor. You have Druid, which has like an extremely strong flavor and identity. You have Cleric, which I mean you can everybody knows what a cleric is, and you can make them in so many flavors. And then you have default, like
Yep.
the wizard does not have. There's very little identity to it anymore.
And then you have Witch, which can do all 4, and then you have Sorcerer, which can do all 4, and then you have Oracle's only Divine. But no, it's like Wizard is so. It's like, hey, do you want to be a magic caster but have crap for skills, crap for armor, crap for
You wanna
attack,
just be
crap for health?
You could just
Worse.
be a rogue.
I mean, I guess the fantasy of it is still like the studious that you learn all this from like literal books, and none of it is inherent. But like,
Yeah, but also like a
that's
sorcerer
also a
could
cleric,
read
and that's
book.
also a druid. And
That's
like,
the-
yeah.
Well,
and
no,
any magic.
to be
What
fair,
stops a
read
sorcerer
book.
from learning like a wizard? Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
like-
or flavoring it like that. Like that's just that's flavor, but that's I don't know. Yeah, when there's so many other options, it's not like a strong identity anymore.
Yeah,
and their
and-
whole identity in 2E was the schools of magic. That was the thing that they did. That was what made them the studious wizard. Is they picked a school of magic, got benefits to it, focused in it, and now they remove schools of magic. It's like, well, why the hell even keep wizard? Just like get rid of wizard while we're in here.
And I think the entire magic system is actually kind of a clunky holdover from the wargaming days. Because by the way, short history lesson: D&D started off as a tabletop wargame, which someone decided to just keep adding rules on top of rules on top of rules. and all of a
Warhammer
sudden-
40.
Yeah, there you go. Warhammer 40 was original D&D. Called it chainmail back in the day. And so that's where your hit points came from. That's where all your different things came from. This is why this model has these spells it knows. And when you do that, that's how you do it. So, magic in it itself has been like the concept of spell slots in general is a fairly archaic one. I think that any new game system that gets created from scratch that has magic in it, none of them use spell slots. Like it doesn't happen.
It is kind of a weird system. Like no other system gets stuck with like its lower level powers as they level up. Like a rogue doesn't get the second die on sneak attack, but like once you've sneak attacked too many people that day, you go back to 1d6 sneak attack damage.
Yeah.
It's like nobody else does that.
I've never liked spell slot. I think
Fancy
I
and
think I played
casting
a-
is the thing that is the term for this, for like spell slots, and prep casters in particular is fancy and casting.
Yeah.
And it's
They basically, I've heard it described as like soda machine magic or pop vending machine magic. You put your quarter in, you get your soda out, you get a pool of quarters every day, like your daddy gives you an allowance, and I use them my
I
quarters.
think focus points are a great system, and one that I kind of wish second edition had committed to a little bit harder.
Well,
'Cause-
speaking of which,
okay, but I mean, like, I think like you could.
segue.
I think there is definitely a universe in which you would replace the entire way that spell slots and magic exists with the focus point system or
Yeah.
something analogous to it, and
Yeah.
just go right into pool of ability.
Just
And-
from like the way I play, it's to have a currency I need to keep track on of how much of fun I can have in a game. It doesn't seem that great. Like it's not as fighting someone, punching someone is not as spectacular as casting a huge spell. But it's like I can only cast that spell once or twice, and if I miss, then it's done.
As a person who's thought about it for 2 minutes and is not a game designer, I don't see any reason why you can't have the focus point system be purely how you cast your spells. Every spell you cast be heightened to the highest level, and you have spells and cantrips. So you have your infinite resource cantrips, and you have like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 focus points, and you can use those to cast any spell you know, and it's always at the highest level, and you refresh them with those 10-minute rests just like we do normally. That seems
Warlock would like to have a word with you.
better to me.
yeah.
I mean, I think it would be really good. I've seen other ones too where magic is supposed to be kind of more like you're bending reality, and the snapback can kind of get you kind of systems where it's
Or like a downside to
yeah.
casting.
So like, hey,
Sounds
here's
like
this.
something
How about
like
this
that
one,
too.
Corey? Every time you cast a spell, you got to make a fortitude save. The stronger the spell, the harder the save, and if you, depending how badly you do, you lose health.
See, that sounds,
Cast as much as you
that
want.
sounds more fun because I also
Yeah,
like gambling.
but like you could also
so-
you could even like strap that on you, cast as you do normally, and if you don't have a spell slot, if you can cast it anyway, but like you blow yourself up or you run the risk of blowing yourself up or
Yeah.
something. I mean, there's the whole point of the remaster is to move away from all this grandfathered in OGL stuff, right? And we're sticking to like we're making some superficial changes. We're mostly just changing names. We're alignment was a decent one that they axed. But like while you were in there, I feel like there's a lot more stuff we could have restructured.
Cobwebs we can
Yeah.
sweep up here.
Well, and also we're kind of in the where magic will also very much define storytelling and define the universe. So the way magic exists right now is it's very much like, you've just kind of figured out a different type of
Also,
physics.
the thing we're describing is literally just kineticis. That's
Yes.
how kineticis works.
Oh,
Is
really?
The harder you push yourself, you literally just do damage to
Oh,
yourself.
well, there you go.
adds
Yeah.
even more to me wanting to be kinesis next time I play this game.
We are literally just describing kineticis. Like,
Sounds so fun every time we talk about
but
it.
I guess what we're talking about is Pathfinder 3. Because this is beyond the scope of the remaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
The point of the remaster is to remain compatible with the existing rules. So a complete and total overhaul to how magic works in the entire game is beyond the scope of a remaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yanking alignment and replacing it with Holy Unholy is kind of already sort of pushing that, but that would be like Pathfinder 3.
Wasn't
content.
that how Pathfinder started?
What?
Like rules came out and then some people weren't happy with it, so they made more.
So
rules.
Paizo was a third-party publisher for D&D 3.5.
Yeah, and then
They-
D&D 4 came out.
And then
which
D&D
was
4 came out, and
D&D the
everyone's
board
like,
game.
wow, I hate this. So, and that was also the same time they tightened their license a lot. So Paizo couldn't make, I might be misremembering bits of this, Paizo couldn't make 4th edition content because they tightened down, or they removed or tightened the OGL, or whatever. They couldn't do stuff for it. And a lot of people were like, well, we're sticking with 3.5 because this sucks. So they just were like, well, we'll just make our own 3.5
Yeah.
and call it Pathfinder. And then, so that's where it started from originally.
Yep.
The cycle repeats itself.
It was...
We're gonna have Finder Path in like 5 years.
I was gonna ask, what does Pathfinder actually mean in universe? Like, does
The
it?
Pathfinder
it's a person.
Society is supposed to be like D&D Adventures Guild.
Yeah.
It is like a globe-spanning organization of heroes that go on adventures.
What's the poetic behind the Pathfinder? Like, are they finding a path to a better
Keepers
society?
of
Is that what it
truth.
is?
They thought it sounded real cool.
Okay. I didn't know
They
there
are
was-
simply seekers of knowledge and keepers
There
of
are
truths.
Okay.
paths, and you find them.
If it belongs in a museum, was
There's
like the
probably
motto
a
for a globe
reason.
spanning
I don't know why they
organization.
called the game what they did. You could Google why is it called Pathfinder.
It's like if
We
the
gotta
British
Google it
Museum
later.
had a globe-spanning network and just had museums all over the place.
Okay, so
But,
basically, Remaster puts us in a weird place where they can only change so much because they want it all to be compatible with existing rules. But now that we are doing big sweeping changes like alignment, it kind of makes me and my head go, well, I wish you would have just gone harder on this and just like yeet spells, yeet wizard, just like
Yeah.
get in there. If you're removing the grandfather did stuff, let's get rid of the grandfather did stuff. But that's kind of where I'm at so far.
Yeah.
Go harder.
Well, I mean, we'll see how it goes. But one thing that they are doing as focus points are getting a little bit more of a focus on. So remember the basic system that focus points had was every time you start off with a focus pool of 1. Every time you got a new focus spell, you got an extra point in your pool, and it maxed out at 3. Couldn't get more than 3. And when you refocused, every class had their own little refocus thing, and you did your little refocus thing for 10 minutes, and you got your point back. That was how it used to work. Now it works. Every time you get a spell, you get a focus point, no limit.
Does still cap at 3. They didn't. It's not in this, but that was the devs clarified that after
The maximum number of focus points in your pool is always equal to the number of focus spells you know, but no, not really.
Yeah, that's an oopsie. The devs clarified afterward. It's absolutely still capped at 3.
But why?
I'm so
The changes, because I know about this one from that. I know about this one. I know about what happened to cantrips. Those are the two that I know. The focus points now work how I'm pretty sure all of us thought they worked anyway. Because the way it worked, and I learned this like very recently, is say you have a pool of 3 focus points, and you go into battle with your strongest potions, and you use 2 focus points. And the battle is over, and you sit down and refocus. You can only get 1 focus point back.
Well, until you get an ability that lets you get more than 1.
Right.
Right.
But like, you can't refocus twice and go back up to 3.
You can't do 10 minutes and then another 10 minutes?
No, because the requirement for the refocus activity is you have spent a focus point since you last refocused. You could only ever add 1.
Yeah, no one ever
Until,
played it
like,
that way.
I've literally never even heard of it being run that way.
Yeah.
So all they did was just change it to the way that absolutely everyone on Earth was already running it. The change is that you can now refocus from any number back up to 3.
Well, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah,
I thought
You might have just said it. How is it? What do you use focus points on? Like
focus spells.
Focus spells.
They're
Okay.
like class specific abilities, like Cammy's Lay on Hands. in Strange Aeons takes a focus point to cast.
Gotcha.
They're little shots
Okay.
of Adderall that let you
They're
cast magic.
they're
Yeah,
spells
okay.
that you can get back in a 10-minute rest, so that they're reusable mini spell slots throughout the day.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and in some cases, actually, they're full spell slots because they're
Some of them are
heightened.
some of them are potent. Some of them are real big. Yeah. All of bardic performances beyond like Inspire Courage take a focus point. So, well, not all of them. A lot of them do. You get some that are like literally. There's one called the House of Imaginary Walls, which is just you mime a wall and then there's a wall, and that costs a focus point. So
That's funny.
that's some crazy stuff.
Let's see.
You ever
here.
gaslight someone into not being able to walk forward?
You ever gaslight someone into a trap?
There's actually a wall here, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, your sword literally bounces off of it, like.
You expect it so
But
hard.
it's an illusion. You can disbelieve it. Illusions in Pathfinder are weird, and I still can't. I can't pretend I fully understand how they work.
well,
They're solid, but they're not. You ever believe something so hard that the sword in your hand physically reacts to it? It's like,
It's hypnotism.
oh yeah, it's super hypnotism.
yeah, it's a heck of a drug, kids. I don't tell you.
Hypnotism is a heck of a drug.
Well, next
That's
up.
less exciting.
Yeah.
Sorry to ruin your parade on the focus point.
I'm so disappointed.
Still capped
man.
at 3, homie.
I'm so disappointed. I
Can
thought we
we
were going
just-
to more focus point land. And
Can
all
we
that
just
stuff.
pretend that there's no cap?
I
You
mean,
can
you can
put
house
anything
rule
you
whatever you
want, buddy.
want. It's like this is a cool thing. You don't have to wait for the devs to drop an update. You can
Yeah.
literally just play whatever you want.
That's
So many
tabletop,
spells.
baby.
It is. It is. Gotta love it.
There's a lot of pages, but a lot of it is individual spells and items. So
Yeah.
we'll glance over a bunch of them
Yeah, I mean,
because
really,
there's actually some interesting things in the spells.
there are. I think the main thing. First off, they all have different names.
Yeah,
who
we're
knows?
renaming everything.
There's a couple of interesting differences here. In particular, they look like they're changing damaging cantrips to no longer add your casting modifier to damage. Instead, you just get an extra die.
Yeah, so we have Ignition, which is the new name for Produce Flame, which no longer does D4 plus your casting modifier. It does 2D4. So I believe that's the only example we have. So, of course, because this is the internet, we're going to immediately assume that applies to every single damaging cantrip in the entire game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if that is the direction that we're going, that's interesting for a variety of reasons, because it means that as a caster, your casting stat is no longer like strength and that it applies to your attack and your damage. It's more like dexterity and that it only applies to your attack roll.
Mhm.
So your spell attack and your spell DC are going to be determined by your int or your wizard, charisma, or whatever. But your damage is fixed now. It's just 2d4. That means that if you're something like a magus, or you have a dedication, or you take like a rogue minor magic feat or something, and your casting stat isn't 18, you do no less damage
Yep.
than like a full powered wizard throwing.
Yep. Especially for Magus, because Magus can hit with their strength.
With their hit with your sword, so
Yep.
you don't need the attack roll at all. You only care about the damage.
Yep. So it
Interesting.
makes it way easier. You don't have to splash as much.
The knee-jerk reaction is average damage for full casters has gone down a little because the plus casting modifier is 4 for all of them all the time,
Mhm.
and an additional die is lower than 4. But that's not like that was a cantrip exclusive thing. I mean, all the other spells in the whole game already just did dice.
Mhm.
You didn't
Yeah.
get your modifier to do anything other than a cantrip. Fireball doesn't do 3d6 plus triple your casting modifier. Like that, it just does 6d6. That's how every other spell works.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
minor.
It's an interesting.
But it's a minor difference that I think is going to cause a lot of opinions.
Oh, well, yeah, they changed something.
Internet?
Obviously, they're going to get very upset.
No. dude.
No.
Not here.
People on the internet don't care that much about losing quite literally 0.5 average damage. Like, that's,
They wouldn't
that's
get-
not going to set the Paizo forum on fire
No.
for 3 days.
Reddit's gonna
Like-
be super cool about it. Like super cool
super
about
cool.
it.
Super cool. Yeah.
So, but it's-
mostly it's. Just
It's going to
little
make
changes.
dedications and the feats that give spells and cantrips. Because right now there's a lot of options, both in ancestry feats and in class feats, that give you a cantrip or a couple of cantrips. And you've never been able to take like a damaging cantrip because it's gonna suck. Because you have the modifier in there.
Mhm.
So I've never, even MD in Strange Aeons, I've never seen someone take one of those feats and not take like shield
Yep.
or detect magic. But now you have so many more options. Like it's a little bit unfortunate for caster classes, and we haven't. Again, this isn't the full remaster. It's possible that caster classes will have something to compensate for this. They
Sure.
might like be able to add a little bit of damage under a cantrip or something. But even if assuming they can't, because that's a stretch, this opens up so much like build opportunity for characters, like so many more things that you can do, like getting minor magic that's gonna do anything
Yeah.
on a character that doesn't have 18 intelligence or 18 wisdom.
Yeah,
or
I mean,
18
to be
charisma.
fair though, like as far as damage goes, if you're relying on casting spells to do your damage in the party, your marshals are bad.
Yeah, spells are. I mean,
So-
this is the thing that like a lot of people just don't get is like spells. They're not here to do damage. Like this, that's not what they're. You have so many spells in the world to do so many insane things. There's so many instantly win the fight spells in the game that aren't like I do 3d6 damage. But
Yeah, like if you
that's the disparity. We made a divide. Marshal do slap. Caster do win the fight instantly.
Yeah.
Like that's, and then all the casters cry because they don't also do slap. I'm
Yeah.
like, brother, have you seen Wall of Force? Have you considered Maze? I hate Maze. It's so OP. I don't let people run it because it's friggin' broken, dude. You have slow. Like spells are insane, dude. Like,
spells have alter reality.
you can't do all of that and also do more damage than the Marshal. Shut up. Shut up. I hate that stuff. Drives me insane, dude.
I hit such a button. This is hilarious.
You messed yourself up with that one.
Oh man, the people like the crying casters can't do enough damage in Pathfinder 2 drives me bonkers, dude. It's crazy. Casters are god in second edition, like just like they were in first edition, but they're slightly less god because they only got the god part of being god and not the infinity damage part of being god. Like, so now you're only half god. Run a game once with with one competent caster. I'm literally begging you.
No, it's true. It's just like
You
this.
know how many boss fights Raz just turned off in Age of Ashes? Because it's like 4.
Even I, as not a caster, turned off one.
I mean, Rose Stealth gets wild. Stealth goes crazy too.
I think my favorite caster thing that we just did it every single time was, oh, hey, all of your marshals, you have 1.5 times as many of them now, effectively.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how about that? Just
People are like, oh, I don't get the damage spells. And like, don't look at haste.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or true target. And I'm like, you want to do a damage spell? Like, yeah, you don't get to roll the dice for it, I guess. But like, throw true target on one guy and watch what happens.
Hey, how would you like to turn all of your party into minions? You just go, hey, attack that guy. And they go, like, well, you gotta tell me what to do. It's like, well, it's way easier now. Oh, well, in that case.
Bard just goes, Unga, Inspire Courage. Like 5% hit chance, 5% crit chance, bonus
Inspire
damage. Like,
Courage, Dirge of Doom.
yeah.
That's a +2 swing to
Yeah, that's like
To
that's fight
everyone.
winning. That's putting the weak template on everybody. Like, it's nutty.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
If you want to play raw damage, just play a frigging Marshal, dude. We have so
fighter.
many. We have so many, and now we also have Kineticist, which is basically a blaster caster. So
Dude, I want to play a Kineticist.
just pick a different class.
Can we just do a game of 5 kineticists that just destroy a continent?
If there is a frontline Kineticist, and then...
I'm sure there's from.
Well, I mean, like, tank.
dude, the Earth Kineticist in the preview, in the playtest, was a wall.
Yeah.
Then we can absolutely do an all-Kineticist team. Because you gotta
Water,
have
like
a frontline.
water had healing. Like I'm pretty sure you can straight up play an all Kineticist party.
Oh, that's easy. We figured out our next one
Now,
shot.
what's going to be
You're just gonna
real
walk
nice-
into a room. There's gonna be poison mushrooms. You have to. Everyone makes fortitude save versus poison, and then no one has any healing magic, so you just slowly die.
Which is
10 minutes.
Well, no, what's going to be really nice is if they made the mistake of Kineticist Burn doesn't out-damage the water's healing.
I'm curious if burn is still in there because in the playtest, I don't think it had burn. Did it? It was over.
I'm
It's,
not
Somebody
sure.
said it
Look,
did
it's-
in chat.
it's
so I
been
thought-
a minute. 1E Kineticist. We were talking about 1E Kineticist.
Oh, my
Because we
bad.
all talked about that. We did the playtest. We did the same thing for the playtest for
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kineticist. And it's just, it was long enough. I honestly remember it.
Goes to
Other than they
Byzance's
gave
no burn.
all the attacks comically hilarious anime names. Yeah, there wasn't burn. So
Can you imagine like all the kineticists? We just put like one life oracle in the back who's just exude. They're sweating, healing the whole time.
yeah, they're just killing themselves. Just feed
They're
them.
in like the Goron armor from Tears of the Kingdom just so that they're safe.
Just a full EOD. You guys are good.
Got you. Don't
Keep
worry.
going. I'm having an aneurysm. It's okay. It's how the magic works.
Yay, team.
I'm helping.
Yeah.
Well,
Are there any
there's
other
one.
particularly
There's
interesting
one
spells?
other spell that's personally I really like, and that is because there is
I'm taking your pages that have spells on it.
Yes, of course, of course.
It's 100.
So runic weapon is the new magic weapon.
Cleanse
the same
cuisine.
thing.
Yep.
Cleanse cuisine. You
There's
get
a
some.
great names.
You
in
get
here.
some
Why
consonants.
we can't call it purify food anymore?
They might sue you because
banned.
Cleanse cuisine.
cuisine.
Oh
I
my
used to eat the
god.
frozen meals. Yeah. It's got the penguin on it. I remember them.
I just left this on my counter overnight. It's still good.
It's fine.
It's fine.
You can turn your grapes into dinosaur nuggies. Can I copy your homework? Okay, but use the thesaurus.
All right.
Holy
Well,
crap.
my favorite one's Runic Body, damn it. Runic Body. It's the new Magic Fang, and you know what? It works on all of your natural attacks, not just the bite or your left claw or whatever the druid decided to cast it on.
Wait, was Magic Fang bite specific?
Magic Fang was a specific unarmed attack.
Oh, okay, so back to focus points. Now Magic Fang just works like how I thought Magic Fang worked. So like that's cool.
Dude, you stumbled into success.
That's cool, I guess. I'm the template.
Anyway, yes, I'm very happy about that.
I see Meteor Swarm can now do more than just fire damage. You pick. You can drop asteroids for fire damage, comets for cold damage, plasma balls for electricity, or air bursts for sonic.
That's like if you, I guess if
There was
it
an
could be
attempt.
that it just.
There's an attempt.
They tried.
Okay, my guess at the flavor is it's a meteor burning up in the sky and it's the sonic boom that hits.
But you get being able to not even just flavor, actually put that into a bunch of different types of damage is kind of neat.
That's really cool.
That's cool. Meteor Swarm is a very underwhelming 9th level spell. That's neat. I like it. Oh, let me look at this Figment thing. You create a simple illusory sound or vision. A sound has the auditory trait. Okay, so this is like a minor illusion. Do we have a minor illusion cantrip before? Is this totally new?
It wasn't a cantrip. It was like a level 1 spell. The interesting thing is that illusions still maintain a great amount of power for tactical play because you can still go and you can use them to kind of create a distraction, but they get a save to disbelieve the illusion.
Yeah, when you cast a sustained spell, you can attempt to create a diversion, giving a +2 circumstance bonus to your deception check.
But my favorite thing to do with illusions is you go, hello, there's a cardboard wall here. It's illusory, but it still blocks line of sight. Being able to line of sight
disbelieve.
blocking on demand is actually very powerful.
Yeah.
And it looks like Paizo's still going to let you do it. Although figments are capped at a 5-foot cube worth of illusory, so you can just make a 5-foot square. So if you're too tall, it doesn't work. But all you short kings.
Is the Nevermind spell on this list? 'Cause
I did
don't
not
know what
find
that
it.
spell
I
is.
looked and I
Nevermind
couldn't
isn't
find
there.
it.
How dare they give us a
Never
spell
mind,
called
never
Nevermind
mind.
and then not tell us what it is?
So one of the things at the tail end of spells, I also know about this one a little bit. Part of it actually is wish. So
That's true. They changed it.
you have the wish page, good sir.
I couldn't find it, actually.
It's at the very back because it's not in the spells. It's a ritual now.
Oh, before we do that, though, the old Wish 10th level 3-action spell, they have kind of
That was what I just saw.
condensed them all into
Because we
the same
first just
thing.
saw wish was a ritual.
Yep.
And it's a ritual now, so that kind of it's rare. This puts it out of the reach of it's not just a spell you take, and it is just make a damn wish.
Yep.
Like that's neat. And people
But
were
don't screw
upsetty-
it up.
People were upsetty because wish was removed. I don't know what's wrong with those people, but we also now have manifestation.
Yep.
This I didn't know, which is a 10th level 3-action spell on all 4 traditions, which is cast any spell of lower level pretty much.
Basically.
So it's the part of wish people were mad about losing, which was being able to use a wish to substitute any other spell. But 9th rank or lower from your tradition, or 7th rank or lower from any tradition.
Yeah, that's the same. That's the way
Yeah.
it worked before, too. I mean, in my
I
opinion,
never read the rules on it because I hate wish and miracle and ultra reality, and I just remove them from everything I ever run.
So how does Wish is just to cast another spell, or is Wish
Wish
like
is a 10th level spell.
bending reality?
Wish is now bending reality. Wish
Okay.
is now make a wish.
Yep.
Okay.
Previously, Wish was a 10th level spell. That was this spell. It was cast a 9th level or lower spell from your tradition, or a 7th level or lower spell from another tradition, or whatever.
Okay.
That was the spell. The spell was it can cast a 9th level or lower from your tradition. It can cast a 7th level or lower from any other tradition, or whatever. Was what this
Whatever.
basically what this spell said, and it sucked. It was literally complete GM fiat the spell, and I hate it. I hate Wish.
Yeah, it's so now it bends reality to kind of whatever.
Well,
right?
the ritual
But now
does.
it's a rare ritual.
Yeah.
That part of it's a rare ritual, and the duplicate a spell part of it is the spell what it should have been in the first place.
It's interesting because
I like this. I'm super here for this. Obviously,
in the OGL, like for 5e, it is wish is that where you just bend reality to whatever you want. So that's normally like a thing that the whole like a campaign will be working towards to get. So now it's interesting that
we came into the OGL with this one.
Yeah, we're moving back in. We're like, actually, that was a pretty cool one. So we're going back for it. It's interesting to pivot back from having it be totally different already.
Yep.
That's kind of neat. I don't know if it's in here or not. I don't see it, but it might be in the items and the talismans, maybe.
I got this one here.
I know magic weapon heightens now. So
that's called runic weapon?
Yeah,
it's called runic weapon. Oh, that's why I can't find the name. I got it right here.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, you even circled it on the runic weapon and runic body.
Yep.
Instead, I was looking in magic. Silly me. They now heighten. So it's not just a weapon becomes +1 striking. There's now a +2 greater striking and a +3 major striking.
Yep.
Variant.
Very nice.
So you can use them at higher levels, and it still does cool things, which is neat.
Yeah, that really had to happen because otherwise it was just this boosts your level 1 encounters.
And yeah,
until
there's
you get
an
actual
armor
thing.
version now, which we didn't have before. I don't think.
Runic body is an armor. Runic body is magic fang.
Oh, that's the magic thing.
Yep.
You do have mystic armor, which is mage armor, for everyone.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I think that's literally just a name change. I don't think that changed at all. Oh, it's on all 4 spell lists.
Yes.
I see what you mean. That's what you mean for everyone. Okay. So all 4 traditions now have access to that. So
Cloistered cleric.
Cammy gets to have 1 more AC. She can catch up to the party.
Woo!
A little.
What's her AC then?
16.
Okay.
What's that put her at 15? Might as well be, man. Like,
If ever there was someone who just needed to sit in a sanctuary and not make eye contact.
Squid rolled a 32 yesterday to hit
it
Cammy.
was literally double her AC.
Literally double her AC.
Did you just like Team Rocket her over the horizon?
Oh, that's funny. What changed on Speak with Animals? It was already called that.
It scales.
It does not scale.
No, it's
I don't
exactly
know.
the same. As far as I can tell, it's exactly the same.
I'm not sure we changed on this. Speak with Animals and Speak with Plants are still in here. Speak with Plants appears to be 4 actions. I don't know what's going on there. Clearly a misplant.
I think, that was
it just says the 2 action icon twice.
Yeah.
Speak with Animals, is the duration longer? It lasts 1 hour now, but it... Did you cast it on an animal before? I think previously you might have cast Speak with Animals on an animal.
So
Now
you
it's
cast
you.
on
And now
yourself.
it's just a buff on yourself that you can just talk to animals for an hour.
Did the tradition change maybe?
Now it's still only
still
primal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. That's the only thing I can think of that might have changed on that one. Look at the core rule book.
But hear me
I'm too
out,
lazy
though.
to pull it out. Look at the little guy.
I've kept it on this page the whole time,
just
so
been-
I can look down at the little guy.
All right, Nick, continue. I got distracted by spells because that was all the Reddit and Discord arguing I've
Oh,
been
there
saying
you
for like
go.
4 days.
So we have a promise with nothing to back it up on the next page. So items, right? There's a little couple things in here where they're kind of doing some they changed a little bit of the format of how they lay things out to make it easier to tell what does what and what
Okay.
tags are on things. And none of it's really too interesting, but just kind of quality of life when you're reading the things. But talismans. To make talismans more useful, powerful, and straightforward, we've changed a large number of talismans. The following ones are mentioned. And then I go read these and they seem exactly the same.
Oh, I was going to say we no longer have requirements. You are a master in acrobatics. The moon is in its 3rd phase and it's Wednesday between 3 and 5 p.m. Effect, you get a +1 to your swim check, but only if the water is not exactly calm but has a breeze blowing across it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of that.
That would be nice.
And
I
mean,
would
they
like the
also-
talismans to do stuff sometimes.
They also do appear to be slightly cheaper.
Okay, that's good.
They
too.
might have reduced the cost. I didn't actually do check the economy.
I know one of the ones that similar to potency crystal now also is the same scaling.
It
as Runic
scales. You
Weapon,
can get
so
higher
the
versions of
higher
it.
tier potency crystals is pretty cool. Especially because major potency crystal is only a 15th level item, which is the +3 major striking as a 15th level item.
It's not bad, actually.
That's real good. 9th
Yeah.
level item for +2 greater striking weapon. Like those are real good.
That's
the one
possible.
talisman anyone literally ever used continues to be really cool. But let me see. Mesmerizing Opal, one of the talismans no one's ever used in the history of the game. Put it on armor. When you activate it, make a deception check to faint. If it's a success, you get so it's just up a degree of success. Oh, success is critical and critical failure is regular failure.
Well, it doesn't stop you from fainting again if you critically fail, because it bumps it up
I
one.
gotta look at what mesmerizing. What's Mesmerizing Opal do before?
I think it's back there. I can grab it.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, Nick's got it.
That's it. We got this. This requires a side by side. No one's ever used this before.
Are the talismans the thing that Talus makes?
Yes,
it lost the
Talisman's things Talus
requirement.
makes in Malevolence. It's the one use burns. and I
It
can
lost
make
the
them do it.
requirement of being trained in deception.
Oh, so you can, people
Oh,
that
you don't have
aren't
to be-
already good at it could actually use it. That's the point.
Let's see. Mesmerizing Opal, level 2 item, 7 gold. Same.
7 gold, level 2 item.
Okay, usage affixed to armor.
Yep.
Activate free and vision. Trigger, you attempt a deception check to faint, but haven't rolled yet.
Oh.
So the difference is now this is activate, one action, concentrate, attempt a deception check to faint.
Okay,
I think
mechanically
faint.
the same.
No, it's not because faint is a trained action.
Okay.
I think so. I think this lets you faint untrained. I don't know if you want to do that for some reason, but like continue. Like it's an
let's see
option.
here. That's okay. Let's see here. If the outcome of your triggering deception check is a critical failure, you get a failure instead. Period. Oh wait, or if the outcome is a success, you get a critical success instead. I don't know why it's in parentheses, but there you go. Okay, so
literally the only change is that instead of it being a free action on a deception, it's one action to use it and then you make a deception, which lets you use it if you're not trained in deception.
jazz hand.
It lets you, and faint is a combat action. It lets you faint in combat if you aren't trained deception. Why would why would you
hand.
ever in your
Well,
life do that?
Considering it's an item level 2, you could still succeed.
Yeah, I guess it's for like Gigolo level, but
So are all of them.
yeah, but what are you gonna do? Who's gonna faint that isn't like you're okay? If you're a fighter, you're gonna swing twice
Yeah.
because your attack roll is 1,000,000.
It's the same
If
as if
you're-
I just...
A rogue, and you're gonna faint. You're already gonna train in deception. Who is gonna use? It's the same question. Who is
So-
the target audience?
This item just doesn't exist. And
I
that's
mean-
okay.
It's not. It is. I mean, the Mesmerizing Opal is already fine for people that are built to use Feint. That's like it's pretty good. A success being a critical success for 7 gold is honestly a banger of a talisman for a Feint-based character. Because the difference is successful Feint means they're flat-footed to your next attack, and a critically successful Feint means they're flat-footed until your next turn.
Which is
So-
huge.
Which is huge. Like
Yeah.
that's already really good for a very niche and specific build of character, and absolutely nothing has changed
Unless there's been a
with
change
moving the
to how
action
Feint
off of
works.
doing a feint to using the item.
Would it benefit spellcasters because they use 2 to cast a spell, and then they could do the 1 to do the feint?
I mean, okay, that's
There could
fair.
have been
I
a change
suppose
to
you could have
Feint.
Like
you
that's
could
the
have a
only-
caster feint,
That'd be the
and then
only
they'd be
thing I could-
flat-footed to your spell.
Yeah,
But like the thing that it does is make a success critical. So like you only need to flat-foot them for one thing anyway.
Yeah.
So like that doesn't help you. This only helps if you're gonna hit them twice.
would it help? I'm doing backflips here. Would it,
I know we're desperately trying to find a
I'm
use
doing
case.
that. Would it work if like if an enemy is targeting a caster who's solo? Like so, Cammy was on her own for a minute there. Could somebody have gone up? Could she have done it to feint on the enemy and then?
They're only flat-footed to you with a feint.
Unless you crit.
Yeah, so that's what I'm
If
saying.
you crit, I think it's still only to you.
Are you serious?
but
But it's
I have
to
a book
you
here.
because that would mean that it's all your attacks for the rest of the turn, and also if you like AOO them or something.
So
it
that's-
might even be
that's
the
what
end
I'm
of your
saying.
turn. It
Is
might be worse than I remember it being because no one's ever played a feint character ever.
is it
We
good?
had one
Is it good
person try and they
insurance? Is
died.
it good insurance for a spellcaster? If they
No.
end up on their own, then an opponent can come and do it, and then they can feint and then critically try to kill them before they
No.
get killed.
I mean, but like the difference between a success and a critical success for a caster isn't anything because you're only getting 1 hit regardless while they're flat-footed because your spell is 2 actions. So
yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Critical success is literally that's what it is. It's the target is flat-footed against melee attacks that you
it's
attempt.
melee attack specifically.
Melee attacks.
So
No,
spellcaster
that's-
out.
that's
Never mind.
why-
Theory gone.
That's why there must be a change to the way that Feint works for this to even be relevant.
Well, I mean, it's the same item it was in the core rulebook. This item already exists. The only
Yes,
change
but
is
for
moving-
this to be here and being
they put it in
referenced-
here like it's an example of like, look how much better it is.
So there
And,
has
like,
to be a change to Feint for this
I
to
don't
even
think
be
so.
here.
I think it's just like someone at the testing facility at Paizo headquarters is a huge Feint Rogue fan, and like
he
they're
just keeps
here to
dying
stand
level 1 and
mesmerizing
doesn't
Opal.
know why.
I just don't understand what the benefit of moving the action from you to the item is, other than you can do it untrained, and I don't know who would ever want to do it untrained.
Because you'd be bad at it.
An animal companion or familiar could use it.
It goes to armor.
Because yeah, you can't put talismans on animal commands.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
If they have armor, you can. I
Yes.
mean,
Oh, I didn't
barding, I
know that.
I
guess.
think
Fair
you give a dog a collar. Couldn't you just put it on the collar?
Can
No,
can they activate it?
Clothing is armor.
Oh, that's
There's
true.
nothing
They
that
have to be
says
smart enough to
Can they
activate it.
activate a talisman?
familiars are intelligent.
kind of. I mean, if you have your familiar fighting.
What's
I
a
think
shark
you're in
tooth
rough shape.
charm? What's a
Animal-
shark tooth charm? Let's go to a different talisman. Let's see if
Moving on.
This one, I give up. I tried so hard to understand what the benefit is. Someone will tell me, I'm sure. YouTube comments exist for a reason. What's a shark tooth charm do in the core rulebook?
Shark tooth charm.
Shark tooth charm,
All
level
right.
5 armor talisman.
Let's see. Shark tooth charm. All right. Shark tooth charm. Level 5 item. 23 gold.
23 gold, 5 items.
Abjuration tag.
That's gone.
Okay, yeah. So there's
Yeah,
a,
I did a thing.
you got one. There's a change.
All right. Affix to armor.
Yep.
All right. Free action command.
Activate 1 action concentrate.
Please continue. Surely there's more than that.
Trigger. You attempt to escape using acrobatics for your roll, but haven't rolled yet.
This gives you a
I mean,
plus
you
1.
just use this and attempt to escape. So
Yeah.
it's
All right.
like
Fair enough. Requirements. You are expert in acrobatics.
okay, no requirements.
That's
Hey,
gone.
there you go. That's helpful. That's helpful. I think we're seeing something.
We
All right.
found it.
That's the kind of stuff I was expecting. Is less restrictions on who can use them.
Let's see. When activating, if you roll success on the terrain check, you get a critical success. If you roll a critical failure, you get a failure.
Yep.
If you fail a check against a grabbing creature, the creature must either release you as a free action or take 2d8 piercing damage as the teeth momentarily emerge from your skin.
Yep.
Okay,
There was
so-
also a +1 item bonus.
It lost
So,
the
Okay.
training requirement. And
yeah,
it gained
lost
a
the
+1.
requirement, and you get a +1 item bonus to the check.
Losing the
See,
training
now
requirement
that
is
I
really
get.
nice.
That's a
that
big
one's
buff.
now that's suddenly a good talisman.
Yeah.
because
That's a caster
that's
item.
great. Yeah, you put that on a caster's armor or something as like an oh crap, because a caster getting grabbed is the worst thing in the universe.
Yep.
And now they have an oh god please help. Their horrible acrobatics attempt to get away is going to be a little bit better with a +1,
Mhm.
and if they fail, they still get to do something.
Yep.
So this is
So this is kind of what I was saying before with the other one.
yes.
then. Yeah.
So the fact that they've cut the requirement off of this means that the people that would have like any interest in using it can use it.
Yep.
Like I get that one.
Yep,
though.
yep.
That makes a lot. Like that's suddenly a good talisman.
Yeah. No, that's really nice. That's actually really nice.
No clue what Mesmerizing Opal's doing, but that's suddenly a good talisman.
It's fainting.
So hopefully
That's all it's
we'll see talismans kind of start to kind of come into their own here and maybe actually be useful for other people to pick up and use, aside from just, hey, are you already
I try
good
to
at
give
this
out
thing?
talismans a lot, but it is kind of just like they only exist to make you better at the stuff you're already good at right now.
Mhm.
Tell you what, Squid. You cut talisman cost in half, I will start using a significant amount of them.
I mean, there are really good talismans. They're called Owlbear Claw
Yup.
Yeah.
and Fear Gem.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Potency Crystal when you're level 1. And that's kind of it. Those are your boys. Those are the absolute home run, out of the park bangers.
Well, the sneak attack one was really good.
The sneak attack one. Okay, I guess there's more than just Fear Gem. There's a couple that work specifically
There's
with
like
already
a
existing
tooth.
abilities.
There's a tooth one, I think. It's like a tooth on a string. And
Wolf
it's,
thing.
No. It's like a people tooth. I remember it
Tooth
being
fairy.
decent. No, you're
Didn't
the tooth fairy.
True Sheet
Okay.
get one of those?
It's a molar.
Bloodseeker Beak is fine too, yeah.
I like the one that
that
I like the one that gives Jumbles a big gun. Whichever one that is, it turns into
Adaptive
big gun.
cog.
Yeah, that one makes his gun
Is
real
it?
big.
It's objectively almost useless, but it's really funny.
It's good for laughs, at
Yeah,
least.
which is Jumble's character. So
It changes your
works.
D10s to D12s. That's an extremely minor upgrade.
There is an item in here called Clawed Bracers. I'm not sure if that existed in first.
I think
ed.
that's just showing the new item format.
That's what I think so too. But it's kind of cool. You got claw. You can go. Haha! I have claws now, and you've got like short swords for hands, and you can climb better. It's a
You
cool
just
little
become
item.
Freddy Krueger.
I would like you
Edward
to
Scissorhands.
read the level that is and what that does, and tell me why you would ever buy this.
All right,
for that
let's
price.
start with this. Did you look at the level?
I did.
Okay. Have you looked at the level?
He took the paper. I don't
Okay.
have it.
Yeah.
All right, you're gonna guess what level you have to be before you can use this item.
Cool.
Clawed Bracers. Activate as one action once per hour. The bracers fuse temporarily with your forearms, claws extending to your fingertips. You gain a climb speed of 20 feet and a claw unarmed attack that deals 1d6 damage.
And it also costs 325 gold.
Okay, that was a large ballpark on the item level, but what level?
I don't think so for him.
Dude, that's fair.
Yeah, for me, no.
But
I don't know how much gold this is.
how high of a level item? What leveled item do you think this is?
This is a level 6 item.
That was fairly close.
Yeah,
Fairly
yeah, I
close.
guess we went
Let's
right.
go.
But
I get
Seventh,
paid the big bucks for
It's
this.
level
seventh level
level
item.
item.
I mean, a 7th level item to get a climb speed of 20 feet on demand is fine.
That's
But
not bad.
a D6 damage isn't going to do too much.
That's
at this
very
point.
much a secondary effect. The 20-foot climb speed, just going shink, 20-foot climb speed.
Yep.
because it's once per hour, it's not even once per day. You can continue reusing it. That's
Oh.
pretty all right. That's not like that's maybe a little
Alternatively,
high,
I'm level 7. I took my ancestry that gave me a climb speed.
but yeah, that's an entire 7th level like ancestry
Scared
feat.
me.
Whoa.
Just got back from work. What I missed is the beginning of stream. The VOD. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Look what saying Fox then. All these talk shows, we do have $1 AMAs. If you donate $1 through the link, tip $1 through the link below, we'll answer whatever you have, however dumb your question may be, however
God.
much you want to derail us, throw it in here.
We legally have to answer.
We are required by management to answer your questions.
By management.
Us, we're management.
It's me. We're management.
Every time we go on this, our jobs are on the line.
But exciting stuff coming up. Maybe I think Sharktooth the Sharktooth charm really
That became very good. So
Yeah.
changes like that, thumbs up. That
Yeah.
suddenly became a very usable and pretty solid charm for 23 UGP. Because even like at moderately decent levels, just a little bit of help to escaping, that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that's one of those. That's cheap enough. That just might be your go-to if you don't have another armor talisman. Just throw on like any backliner.
yeah.
Can we talk about the scamps? Because I've been staring at this guy for about 20 minutes now, and I don't understand them. I just know he's a little bat, and I like that. What do they do? Why are they here?
Do we have like a thing?
Yeah. I got it. I gotta get through my stack.
The success on a 10 crown.
All right, so some for everyone improv. So scamps, I don't know what's changed. I've seen the image. I know that
I'm
is the
looking
new.
at it.
I know that's the new Mephit.
Yep,
and
they're the new
everyone was going
Mephits.
nuts about it. I didn't realize that was from this until I printed this out. It was like, oh, hey, that's the thing from Twitter. That's. Let me see.
It looks so adorable now. It looks like a Furby got a cold.
It's friend shaped. This is exactly what a
I
friend
wouldn't
would look like.
go that far.
I wonder if when you pet it, do the eyes boggle?
If you squeeze,
squeeze
it,
it.
its eyes, yeah.
But,
You know it makes a squeak sound when you squeeze.
All that was. Is there any information about it? Like, or is
Scamp,
it
it's a
just-
water scamp, and it says scamps take place in the elemental planes, formerly occupied by Mephisto.
So it is. There's no info other than just that's what Mephits are.
That's
now.
what
then
Mephits are now.
there's literally
They're
just
on
a
the
bunch
table
of photos
at the
of
beginning
like
of the
buff
thing,
Okay,
too.
they just wanted to put a picture in there because they knew. Because honestly, whoever is in charge of Pilot's marketing, I know who it is. I talked to him. Is pretty good at being like, this is gonna trend on Twitter immediately, and then just includes that art in there because it's adorable. And yeah, you win. Congratulations, good work, buddy.
And
He
got
did the
me.
thing. They did the thing that he knew it would do.
It did the thing you knew it would do.
Because the rest of it are just photos of like hot dudes and hot ladies doing magic.
Yeah, there's genies
no, those
in
are
there.
specifically different types of gin.
I thought we called them John now. What
Yeah.
are they called now?
No, they're called that.
They're called okay.
This is
They're
funny.
different types of
He
genies.
used to look like this.
Oh, we
That's
Pokemon
a Mephit.
upgraded for sure.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a Mephit.
Yeah.
And
This is
if
the
you-
level 1
If you hold
evolution.
yours up because we can't really put it on the
Oh,
screen.
right.
You're not gonna see it great, but if you've probably seen this tiny little fluffy adorable
Looks
man.
like a Furby with bat
he's,
wings.
he's not a
a literal devil.
really weird like blue Dracula
Now
demon
he's
now.
the size of a kiwi.
Wait, really?
I don't know. He looks like it.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah,
look at
it
real
looks
tiny.
like it would be about this tall.
I mean, that's not about how tall. Mephits are small, so they are like.
I mean,
Now,
off the
now
table.
it's like
I meant off the table.
oh, he's just like.
Oh
a
gosh,
little
like if it's
boy.
actually like, can you imagine it like? Because actually, a Furby that's this big would be kind of off-putting. That'd be
That-
like, oh my
that-
god.
there's
Eyes would be
point.
like this.
I
A Furby
know,
that's
right?
this big is already off-putting. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, at least you could hit that with a tennis racket. That's like Florida mosquitoes right
Yeah.
there. You can just,
if it's off the ground this tall, then it's a threat. Like, oh, you won success on a 10 today. Congratulations.
I could see him fighting so hard. He wanted to put it on from the minute he picked it up, and he held out. I'm proud of
I
you.
survived a little while.
You did.
Anyway, continue. Where are we at?
So we're moving up to some creature abilities that got updated and changed. In particular, so like creature abilities that would just, hey, when I hit you, you're automatically grabbed. That doesn't happen anymore now. It's when I hit you, I get an automatic roll to grab you. Same deal for knockdown. Instead of, hey, you get knocked over
Is
if
this-
you take damage.
So this is for like the improved. This is like improved grab.
These are monster abilities.
Right, but like the point of grab
Uh-huh.
is that it succeeds because it takes an action. So if you have to roll, what does it do?
Yeah, so grab is now the monster's last action has to have been a successful stripe that lists grab in its damage entry, or the monster as a creature grabbed or restrains. Effect is if used after a strike, the monster attempts to grapple the creature using the body part it attacked with. It does not apply or count towards the creature's multiple attack penalty.
Okay.
But
It's
it does
just a
take
free
an
attempt.
It does. Well, it's not free. It takes an action.
Yeah, well,
It doesn't hurt the map.
right, but it
Correct.
doesn't count towards or and is not affected by the multiple attack penalty. Okay, that's what it does. So that's a huge nerf to grab monsters. Okay, massive nerf to grab monsters.
And that also applies to
deserved
push and knockdown for shove and trip effects. Same deal. It's a separate action to.
Does that apply to my knockdown?
Well, it.
Does it,
this
your
is
knockdown you already have to roll, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so-
the
so
improved
the-
one doesn't.
Improved knockdown, does it?
Improved
Is that a
knockdown,
fighter
I
thing?
just knock you down.
Oh, I don't know. We'll
I
find
mean,
out.
this is just a creature ability. This isn't redoing
That's
an
just
actual
me
feat.
tossing a question in the air.
Yeah. So the answer is
It's a very small.
with the
frame.
evidence that we have.
It's
no.
kind of hard to get on my head.
It's yeah. I mean, it is
It's almost like it was
It's
designed
a
for a
little guy.
child.
Yeah, it was bought at a Spirit Halloween roughly a year ago. So
It's a little guy.
It shrunk with time.
Let's see here. They've added something called Wave Sense, which is Tremor Sense, but in the water. That was important. I had to add that in.
That guy. Okay, yep, that's sure.
Yep.
throw that one in, I guess.
it's that
there's,
but wet.
There's also a change shape that they upgraded for things that literally polymorph or change their shape into other things. They basically get a lot of bonuses to make it really hard to tell that they're not that thing.
It's only a +4.
That's a
Plus
big
4 is
deal.
massive.
big
That's
deal.
Yes,
Huge.
but compared to like the +20 that
Plus 4 is
Mimic would
absolutely
get,
massive in campaigns not called Malevolence, which just slaps it on everyone with reckless abandon. They kind of forgot how their balance worked in that one.
Yeah, they get a little loose with.
can we bring
with
back the
pluses.
first edition where goblins get a +8 to stealth?
At level 1.
Yeah.
Oh, we have so many beans in here.
We have beans. We
Yeah,
just got loose
lots of
beans.
beans.
in
It's just a
there?
bunch of beans, man. Just some delicious beans.
Just baked beans.
Here,
Let's
have a
go.
bean.
in case we get
Oh,
hungry
thank you.
later.
This is why we have so many ants in here.
That's just a Florida standard.
That's just how this.
Yeah, I'm
thing
sorry.
works.
Oh, it rained. Oh, there you go.
It's
Instantly,
all the ants.
all ants double in population, and half of them move into your house. That's just what happens. Keep your house clean, and they won't do it.
Same applies
Oh,
to
I
cockroaches.
wish. I wish that was the case.
Well, they won't stay if you keep your house clean at the very least.
It rains, and if Arcadis hasn't like sprayed around the house within 24 hours, there will just be ants wandering around the house.
Yep.
And-
That's
but
just Florida. That's just how
that's
Florida
just
works.
Florida, and then they're gone in like 3 days because they starved or whatever. But
Yep.
like, it's still annoying.
There's
to
like, hey,
deal
there's
with.
no food here because these people aren't messy. I better leave. It's kind
But
of
they
what
will
it
come
is.
inside on account of it's not wet.
Yep. That's it. That's it.
If
Just
you're cold, they're cold. Let them inside.
They're just wandering travelers. Just need a place to stay for the evening.
So the next thing that they came up with is they did a little bit of a rework on how genies work, which is particularly kind of focused down. If basically you don't care about this unless you run a
we're
campaign
getting
with
real
genies.
specific now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've had
John.
like 1 to 2 genies literally ever show up.
Yep. And now the genies are like there's like a specific type of genie that can grant wishes, and it's the weakest type of genie, and they're really weak unless they're casting wishes.
I mean, that was how they worked, though. The only genie that comes immediately to my mind is the genie in Skull and Shackles. Nice.
If I fidget with something long enough, I will drop
The
it.
genie in Skull and Shackles and the well that you free from Cyclops Hell, and it was a water genie, whatever those are called.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like its thing too, is it was not super powerful, it wasn't that strong, but it can grant wishes. And that was how you had to get it out of the well, was you had to use a wish to get it out of the well, because it fully has the power to get out of the well if somebody wishes for it. But that's like, it can't just do that on its own, apparently. So
Well, wishes cost money. It's not going to do that for free. It's going to make people spend wish credit.
You have a wish credit score.
you gotta take that up with the Wish RS. You get audited at the end of the year for all your wishes. You gotta
can
pay
take a-
back taxes.
You can take a wish loan out if your credit score is good enough.
So what they're doing now is there's like there's elemental genies, no metal genie or wood genie yet. Sorry. But then there's also a universal genie. They're called Johns.
John.
John,
That's my
God.
buddy, John.
I love John.
They've got all the elemental tags, including metal and wood. They look real cool. That guy looks.
Which
that
means
guy
there
look
will
nice.
be metal genies.
That dude looks like he could give me life advice, and I'd listen to him.
Jabali's just an Oread.
Yeah, they changed the name.
Jabali looks baller.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing here.
But
Yeah.
why?
That's what we do.
Because OGL. Come on, keep up. This is like 30 minutes ago.
It
But
doesn't
that's
matter what's
literally like that looks just like the first edition art.
I think that is.
That's because the
literally
art is
first edition
copyrighted.
art.
The name is not.
Because I used it for a strange token in Age of Ashes. I used it for one of the. I used that for NPC art for one of the faction leaders. One of the.
I was
Guild
like, this
leaders.
is so
yeah.
familiar.
He was the leader of the actual Apsis Consortium. That was who that guy.
Yeah, that was the Aspis guy. That was who that was. Yeah, so that is literally
Trust
the same
us.
art.
Gotcha.
Trust
Okay.
us, it's the same art.
But
Yeah, we put this up on stream early, but again, we don't have Arcadis here today. We don't have production.
He's not an Ori.
You can imagine
now.
it.
He's a
Just
Jabal.
Follow along in your PDFs at home. Like it's
Where we are also skipping a lot of pages and not saying.
it's mostly just a big list of spells. I ain't reading all that.
To be fair, how can you look at this dude and not say he's Jabalin?
I mean, he definitely looks like it. Like I can hear Giga Chat
Don't
music
acknowledge
playing in
him.
my ear. Just looking at
Why
him.
are you giving him positive reinforcement?
I like his big sword. Big fan of that. Moving on.
Big sword, big
Alrighty.
man.
So,
We have like full stat blocks.
we have
for
full stat blocks.
like
for these
20
genies.
genies for some reason.
Well, like 4. 4 and then super genie. So
All
you've
varying levels too.
You got like these 4 genies with that awesome Paizo art. I gotta say they really know how to like.
They do. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
art,
do some
honestly.
cool
They
art.
got some banging artists.
And then you've got like Mr. John over here, who's literally the lowest level of all of them, but like grants wishes
My
also.
name is John.
He is the most
My
guy
first day
looking
at
of the
Genie. It's
genies.
just a dude. Just
Yeah.
kind of a guy.
He's like kind of a cool guy. Is he medium? Yeah, he's medium sized. He's literally just like everyone else is large, but he's like just the cool old guru looking guy who comes over and just gives you advice and also can grant wishes.
So, a John is not any element. A John is all elements.
Yep, all of them.
It's the Omni Genie
Yep.
and the lowest level Genie.
I mean, he's got all their strengths and weaknesses, so he's got for as many strengths as he has a lot of weaknesses.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, the other thing is that the other genies can't grant wishes. But what they do know is that the genie leaders know the wish ritual. So that's how they can kind of cheat and grant
So it's only
wishes.
Jonathan R. Genie that can grant wishes at this point.
Specifically.
Everybody else is just an elemental, I guess.
Yeah.
And
If you're a genie that can't
they're
grant
no
wishes,
longer trying to trick you.
I'm here to tell you, you're just an elemental. Like you're not a genie anymore. That's the thing that makes the genies genies.
It's time to stop lying
You are
to yourself and us.
you're just an elemental. This is just an air elemental.
They're no longer trying to trick you, though. It says that they grant your wish in an attempt to encourage growth and exploration.
Yeah, so they won't necessarily give you what you want, but they'll give you
They're
something
not
that
trying
they
to
think
make
is
it
what's
worse.
right
They're
for you.
just
Yes.
trying to drive the car.
It's like, I want infinite chocolate bars. It's kind of like, I will take away your desire for chocolate bars. And it's
This
like you
is-
have an infinite supply.
This is literally just an invisible stalker.
Which one?
The
air.
Jafum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not a genie. This is just an air elemental.
But it
Like
has
a
the
lady.
genie tag, so you know it's a genie.
It's an air. It also has the air and elemental tags. So I mean,
Okay, is there like
is that the game we're gonna play today?
Is
Is
it
that
the-
what you want to do?
is the thing that differentiates them is like she's trapped in something? Like is that
Does she live in a lamp?
like,
Like,
are you, that guy was stuck in a well. Is she stuck in something? Is that
possessing all
why?
the subtlety and elegance of air itself, the Jothum of the plane of air operate within dreams, nightmares, and time.
And in time.
and time.
We're moving past that one.
Okay, it just,
Just blow past it.
they give portent and speak through oracles and prophets rather than making their actual presence known. Bitch, you are a level 5 creature. Calm down. This makes their presence easily misinterpreted.
So
And then I'm going to read a sentence with a lot of funny words in it. Jothums get along with John and Phaedon, but they find Jabali and Kidizar too stiff to harbor an undying hatred for Ifrit.
Everybody remember
sounds.
that.
Sounds are fun. I like making noises with my mouth in a way that anyone understands because we changed the name of everything to incomprehensible piles of letters.
Yeah, you
That's,
need like a reference chart
well,
that you
like-
can kind of look back and forth.
We'll get used to it eventually, but eventually is not right now.
Hold on. They made a mistake. Ifrit's not a word anymore.
And no, they took an F out. There's only one F in it now.
No, it's
No.
not Ifrit.
It's Nari.
Oh, they screwed up. That's supposed to be Nari.
Oh, they did. They
Ifrit's
did.
not a word anymore.
Uh-oh.
Embarrassing.
I found it.
That's supposed to be Nari.
You caught him.
He got him. How dare you have published a typo in your beta materials?
There's 2 typos today. You're on thin ice.
All right, sorry. Nari.
Naughty. Oh, here's the difference. These are uncommon. There you go.
Like golems.
Like golems.
Like golems.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, does that mean that in the next AP
We're gonna have an AP where we kill every
nothing but
genie in
djinns?
existence.
That's Rage of the Elements. Oh no, we've discovered the subplot.
It's not an adventure.
Oh my god.
We're gonna make them uncommon.
That's
We're
it.
gonna get a backstory of why none of them exist anymore. Is there anything else in here? Or is it just a bunch of
That's
genies?
it.
It's literally
It's
just
just a
genies.
bunch of genies.
There's a demon lady at the
That
end.
was a
She
weird
looks
note to
cool.
end on.
She's kind of a baddie.
That's the Naru or whatever. What am I looking at?
What?
The name.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah,
they
that's
messed
the whole
up.
point.
We know that.
But they did it again.
No,
Well,
that's the
yeah,
one
we
we're
know
talking
they
about.
screwed up. Like it's supposed to be Naru or whatever.
But it's
But-
there again. I found the other typo. That's
Oh,
3. They're
yeah.
Well,
5.
yeah, the
it's
guy in the
always
genie section did not get the missive about Ifrit, obviously. The writer who did that one did not get the Ifrit thing.
He saw the memo, but just
Does
like
that say
that's
Ifrit
that's gotta be it.
Shoryuken?
There's no
Wait,
way.
does the sidebar say Ifrit Shoryuken?
No, Shuyuks.
Shoryuken?
Shuyuks. My
I
best.
saw it sideways on your page. I thought it said Ifrit
That's
Shoryuken. Oh man, that's way
We have a
less funny.
Kamehameha and a Shoryuken now.
Well,
We're
they-
so close to Street Fighter.
They all say Shuyu.
Is Goku
Yeah.
from Street Fighter like?
The Hadouken is just a small Kamehameha. Like, let's not kid ourselves.
This is the condensed energy wave.
It's just a small
Okay.
one.
So yeah, the Shuyuki are like the Shuyuks are the chiefs. They're the chiefs that can grant wishes because they know the wish ritual that kind of lets them fake it instead of actual granting wishes.
Rage of the Elements core preview. Grab is an additional action that now requires a roll. Also, Rage of the Elephants core preview. The Ifrit makes a melee strike. If the strike hits, the target is grabbed. I guess it just has to be a special rule now. Just immediate. You gave us like 4 stat blocks, and you immediately just gave old grab to one of them. Confidence in the changes.
There was a copy paste, and then they didn't think to do control R. They
I
just,
mean, it's in here as a separate rule, so it's not like her
Oh,
thing has
no,
grab. It's a different action.
That's a fighter thing.
Combat grab?
Yeah.
oh,
So I guess it's not going to apply the player effects
Yeah.
then.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Combat grab's like a 6-level fighter.
So your
feat.
knockdown will probably stay the same as it is, most likely.
Okay.
I imagine. We'll see.
Because it's like the
Yeah, these
snagging
are just
strike from level
elementals.
1. It's just a higher level version where you are just grabbed.
Well, combat grab is actually a thing that you get later. Like I
Yes.
think it branches off of it.
She just grabs you, and then she's spicy, and that's kind of what she
Yes.
does.
She cool.
So she hits,
I vibe with
grabs, does auto damage.
Grab and spicy. I mean,
It's
that's
just grabbed by the jacked fire lady.
absolutely. It's
And
like,
then you
oh
have a bad
no.
Now,
Okay, so our main things. Alignment obviously is the primary one.
Mm-hmm.
That system being completely ripped and replaced is a pretty large change. And then jury's out on what like sanctified and holy and unholy is really. We
We'll
need
see
more
how it turns
information.
out,
I think
yeah.
I don't think we're gonna be able to like draw any kind of a conclusion on that till it's done. The spells, the change to cantrips, if that does affect more than just ignition, giving way more things scaling, doing almost literally nothing to focus points.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just seems like alignment is the only big one that I'm seeing in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it just tweaks, minor tweaks on
Well,
stuff.
and the funny thing is alignment, it's a big change, but it's a change for things that probably didn't matter too much to most people if you think about it. Like unless your campaign is literally involving the struggle between good and evil and you've got evil damage and holy damage flying around left and right, like this doesn't really change your game too much.
Wrath of the Righteous.
Yeah, admittedly, it's not a thing, even in a campaign like Age of Ashes, it's not a thing that really interacted much. It was...
Well, I mean, if you decided to get yourself some good damage, it really made the fight
That's true.
easier.
Good damage made Book 6 dramatically
Passable,
easier.
I would say. It was some pretty rough
Gotta
stuff
be
in
careful with that search and replace. That's how AD&D ended up with The Wizard.
there.
Oh. That one took me a second to put together, but then I got there.
oh, wizard.
It's the 6d6 slashing the wizard. Well, I'm really curious to see the full thing.
Yeah.
I want to know the sanctified thing is a big change that I really don't feel like I can draw any judgments on right now. Like I can't even. I don't even feel like I've really got an inkling of what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
Until we've seen like the full set for it and the support, and until like Player Core and Player Core 2 come out. So that's just made me really want to know about this whole sanctification thing.
Do we have a Is there?
This
like
is
a
also made me
estimate-
want to read Kineticist.
Is there like a estimate like day on when the core comes out?
I know there is, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay.
The wizard.
Oh, so here. I just had a thought. Maybe it works differently. Maybe let's say that someone. I bet you no one does holy or unholy damage anymore. I bet you it's the holy or unholy
Where's the
tag
pages with the?
is attached.
If you're sanctified, you get the tag. The tag modifies spirit damage.
It
Oh,
modifies.
so is it all spirit?
Yeah,
damage?
so I think what it is that you would either your spirit damage or your sanctified actions
yeah.
get the
Though
bonus.
this damage type isn't used in Rage of the Elements, the remaster rules introduce spirit damage. This replaces all alignment damage.
Yeah.
So all chaotic damage, good damage, evil damage, awful damage, it's all spirit damage.
Right.
Okay, I misunderstood what you were saying.
I
So-
probably didn't say it right.
You have the tag as a creature. If you cast a spell that does spirit damage,
So-
it becomes a holy spirit damage.
Right,
spell.
and then if people are
Evil.
weak to holy or unholy, it's still spirit damage, but it's holy spirit damage or unholy spirit
it triggers
damage.
the weakness.
And spirit damage just hits everybody. So it doesn't matter if you're sanctified does not make you now take damage from this.
Sanctified
Yeah.
means you don't get the extra weakness trigger.
Well,
I mean, we don't know how the
we don't
weakness is
know
gonna
if
work
you're
yet. We don't
going
know what
to
that's
though.
gonna do.
Like we don't know if you're going to get weakness.
It lets you put that trait on your things. It may give you a weakness, but
But this
it
basically
says
neutral creatures. Yeah.
often have a weakness to it. So neutral creatures are going to get hit by spirit damage of all kinds
Mhm.
at full power, as is everybody is going to get hit by it at full power because it's not divided by alignments anymore. But creatures that are holy or unholy may take bonus damage from the opposite one. This sounds like it's going to be possibly only beneficial.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my inflict because I don't think you're going
Unless
to
they're like,
get.
I mean, it's possible that like I don't know, a demon is weak to holy and resistant to unholy. So you might have the downside that if you're fighting same side things, your spirit damage is neutered. That would make sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you telling me that I can't divine lance alignment check people anymore?
I don't think you can divine lance alignment.
I mean,
check
you
people anymore.
can, but like you're shooting them regardless. So you know.
Yeah, they're taking the damage straight up. Like
You say you're a good person. Let's test that. Oh, he died. Whoops. Guess he wasn't good.
yeah,
So
that's,
then, yeah, it's-
that's
I
called
shot him with my gun. And
that's
he
called
died.
murder.
He must be a witch.
so. Spirit damage. Spirit damage applies to absolutely anything that has a spirit. You can't just hide in the neutral zone and not take alignment damage.
Yep.
anymore. Okay, I misunderstood what
GM
you
for
were
Life
saying
says it
there.
comes out November 2023, which is honestly a lot closer than I thought.
Oh, yeah,
thought
no,
it'd be
I mean-
like spring is when.
Well, I
we
mean,
get
we're
it.
getting this, and they wrote all of Rage of the Elements with this all in mind as, like, it's already using the language.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that I'm sure that they have, if not completely finalized, are in, like, the finalizing stages, just ensuring, because it is kind of like a big shift in a
Yeah.
lot of the rules, making sure that everything interlocks well, making sure that they're not, forgetting Ifrit, double checking, all that stuff.
Oh, so it's spring monster core and then player core 2.
Monster
what is
Core.
what? So is
Player Core 1 is the core rulebook.
Yes.
Player Core 2 is like the advanced player's guide. You can think of it that way.
Okay.
Right.
So the core classes, which are now dramatically less, a lot of them did not make it into Player Core.
Mm.
The classes that are in the core rulebook, minus, I think, Monk, Barbarian, Champion, and Sorcerer, but plus Witch,
Gotcha.
are all going to have their rules in Player Core. And all the rest of the classes are going to be in Player Core 2.
Okay.
So wait, Monk and Champion are not in player
Monk
core?
and Champion are not in Player Core because they had alignment connections.
Gotcha.
Champion is alignment the class.
Yeah.
Their entire class is what alignment they are. So they're going to have to completely like redo that with Edicts and Anathema.
Cleric.
And
you
oh,
just-
Alchemist also gets bumped to Core 2. Alchemist isn't there either.
I
Good.
keep forgetting they
Just
exist.
freaking delete them,
Yeah.
dude. Just get him out of here.
Maybe this is it. Maybe
Make it a
this is what they-
dedication.
Maybe this is what they need.
Just make it a dedication. Get him out of here. Like, but
That's actually what all alchemists are. They're all dedicated. No one actually plays an alchemist. You just take the dedication and then you get free potions. I don't know,
accurate. But yeah, then so it's a much restricted list. Monks had an alignment restriction because they couldn't be chaotic. Barbarians couldn't be lawful. Barbarians also in a lot of their builds have ties into dragons pretty heavily, and the entire concept of like the structure of dragons is all totally changing.
Yeah.
We don't have just like metallic and chromatic dragons anymore because that's all OGL. That's getting yeeted. All the dragons are going to be pretty unique and distinct like groups, which I think looks super cool.
Yeah.
We don't know much about that. We've seen a couple little bits of art. A Monk Alignment's PF1. Why aren't they in the core then? They just didn't make the cut, I guess. I don't know.
Spirit damage.
I mean, I
Maybe.
think what it is that just monks are not really monks were a bolt-on class anyway. Like, you know, I want to play a martial artist kind of thing, and they added into D&D
Give me
3,
Cavalier.
and they threw it in there. Cavalier is just called a fighter, sir.
Yeah, but just give me proper Cavalier. I want to Spirited Charge ×4 crit somebody from the top of a Pegasus like in first edition.
No.
You want I want roll dice.
counter-
Math rocks go click clack.
Counter offer. No.
No.
No, what was it? ×6 damage? Because Lance was ×3 and you
It
doubled
was
your
it
crit.
was ridiculous. You got
It was something
multiplier
stupid.
stacking. But I think that's all we got for this.
Yeah, it's
Really,
everything
I
in the
think,
packet right
We
there.
figured this out. I really want to go read Genesis now.
Yeah, same.
I'm super interested in what that's going to do. I haven't looked at that at all yet.
Probably what's going to happen is the same thing that happens with all the new classes. Is I hear about them, I'm like, that's so freaking dumb. Why would anyone care? And then I actually read it. I'm like, I have like 3 ideas.
Yep.
That was 1,000% me, an investigator. I was like, this is the stupidest crap in the world. And then I was like, this is neat. Just, I don't know how to make it good.
Yeah.
And I'm trying.
And then you
So
made jumbles, and I
hard.
was like, yep. That's the thing that I thought.
Let me tell you, your first time playing Pathfinder being investigator is very hard.
What did I tell you? When you're making a character,
Read. And I won't.
I
You're
said
lucky he read
probably
the class
don't
name.
play an investigator, and I said definitely don't build it around a gun, and I said if you are gonna build it around a gun, just use a normal gun, and you didn't do any of those.
I wanted a small frog boy who loves his little books, and he's got a fun sliding gun. This is what I wanted.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, I got
Everybody, this is gonna be cool because now he has to walk over and turn the stream
Everybody
off.
sing our
So,
our outro. We have an outro. Everybody knows it. Sing it. I'm not getting up till we do it.
A song of our people. Enjoy your weekends,
Panic
everybody.
screaming.
Goodbye, friends.
Bye-bye.